Hello, hello. Here we are. Um, man, that episode. I'm gonna say right up, I think at this point, um, this is my jump the shark moment. I don't think this is from last week. What is this going on? I don't think this show is salvageable anymore. I think that episode um really ruins everything, and it's just not. I mean, let me explain it fully, because if you watch just that episode by itself, and it's beautifully directed and beautifully acted and all sorts of things, costumes, music, that fun little montage at the end, Tyland's wonderful adventures in Essos, which was some of the most fun we've had in the show, in this very dour show. But these episodes and these scenes are not, they don't exist by themselves. Like, other scenes happened that led up to these scenes. And when you put them together, they make no sense. They contradict each other. The arcs go nowhere. It's to this point where I'm just like, well, now it's hopeless. Like, it's so utterly hopeless at this point. You can't fix it. Like, you can't fix it. Now that they've made everything about prophecy, like now that they've made Damon's journey about prophecy, there's nothing left. In fact, I mean, Damon is the one that I have the most problem with, like his story. Because forever we've been, flailing, like Damon's been flailing, and he doesn't know what he wants, but he believes that he is the master of his own future, and there's this big question, like, oh, is he in it? Is he in it for himself, or is he in it for Rhaenyra? And he has to go on that journey to discover, is he in it for himself, or is he in it for Rhaenyra? And he has his visions, that he has these little nudges from Alys, where about Viserys, about Rhaenyra, about his mother, and getting into his insecurities and getting into like what exactly he's doing. And you wonder, like, which way is he going to go? And then they just make it, oh, I'm sorry, you shouldn't be actually thinking about your own free will. Like, here is a prophecy about the future. All of that other stuff was irrelevant. All of that exploration of your feelings about your mother and your brother and Rhaenyra was irrelevant. We wasted our fucking time. We wasted our whole fucking time at this whole season, and probably last season as well. There's no such thing as free will. Damon, don't make your own choices. It's just fall in line prophecy. It was atrocious. And then you take a character like Helena, who is somehow connected into the Weirwood and not, and she goes from being a patch face like character who has these random cryptic ideas to all of a sudden, no, I'm sorry, Aemond, you're going to die at the God's Eye on July 4th, in the year 131 at 4:51 p.m. Like, so coherent, like so cogent. All of a sudden, like, where does that fucking come from? Or even Alicent, like, all of a sudden she's at this end point where she feels like she's been cast aside, and so she goes to Rhaenyra again, another fucking going to Rhaenyra scene. But what was the point of the beginning of the season? Like, what was the point of her having sex while Helena has her kid killed? What was the point of her getting into an argument with Aegon and sending him off? She feels no guilt over those two events, which are major, and they lead to nothing with regards to like her character. And then Rhaenyra just being back and forth. Like, she honestly said this episode, like, oh, who gets hurt in the end, like with Mysaria. And then it's like last episode, you let 100 people in to get burned and eaten to death. You know, it's just everything, like each scene by itself is very beautiful, but nothing connects to the previous one. Like, why was there a romance with Mysaria for a scene? Came from nothing, went nowhere. I mean, I can't see a way that the show can be redeemed, especially when the main three characters have been done so dirty. Like, what's the point of the Damon story anymore? Like, what's the point of it? Why were we exploring this crazy character when he just falls in line because of prophecy? Rhaenyra is just one episode to the next. I just can't read her. She's now more chaotic than Damon. And Alicent, I don't know what's like. Why set up the affair with Kristen Cole? Why have her, be at fault for Jaehaerys' death? Why have her convince Aegon to go into battle when none of it fucking matters? Like, it doesn't have anything to do with her arc. Even Larry Strong, like, why make him a creep last episode to have him be weirdly attached to Aegon this season because they're both cripples? Like, that has nothing to do with what he was doing previous seasons. It has nothing to do with the fact that he was obsessed with Alicent and had a weird foot fetish, and that he was the type of person to kill his own brother and father. Like, none of that's explored. It's just this season, it's like, well, Aegon's crippled. I'm crippled. I'm going to save him. Again, it's not that any of these scenes can't be taken by themselves and appreciated for their direction and their acting and things like that. But it's just, there's no connection to the previous scenes of the previous episodes. And so, I mean, at this point, I don't know, just the whole series is just kind of falling apart for me at this point. I just can't. I mean, it's not like there aren't intriguing, fun things going on, like what the hell's going on with Otto? But I don't know, like, we just all have to follow prophecy, and we're all part of the story. Why connect yourself to Game of Thrones season 8? Why connect yourself to that crap? Like, who wants the show connected to the whole, like, what connects us all? Stories. Like, who wants that shit? Oh my God. Oh my Lord. I don't know. I don't know if I'm being too hard on the show, but I just cannot see a way they can dig themselves out of this. They really shat the bed with this. It's not that there isn't like little bits of fun here and there, but it's just, like, no character has an arc. No character makes sense. And I'm still also bitter that there's no fucking Nettles, who is the best fucking character. Instead, we get Wet Blanket Rhaena running around, like, without food. Like, and no one's like, hey, where did the King Consort's daughter go? Maybe we should go search for her. She's on fucking foot. Hello. Hey there.
Are we live?
I think so. What makes you think you're not?
I don't. Oh, I know. I see it. So far behind. Trey said he'll jump in, but you got to put on your headphones. That's his terms.
That's fine. Whatevs. Am I being hard on the show here?
Okay, we have to have this fucking conversation because I'm getting so fucking sick. You and I criticize the right-wing grifter guys all the time because they really do blindly hate Star Wars with no substance, no actual like meat on the bones criticism. But when you actually attack, maybe attack is not the right word. When you actually go at the show, you go at it from a fan of George R. R. Martin's work, George R. R. Martin himself, and the books, and what makes sense in those things. Ryan Condal, it's become somewhat of a staple for House of the Dragon to constantly do this thing where when they go off script, off source material, and they do original stuff, sometimes it's fucking amazing. Like episode 2, all
Sure.
original, amazing. And then completely like new original shit that also becomes like incredibly bad. Like Helena sending her projection to Damon in the Weirwood vision, her being connected to the Weirwood net.
Like, yeah, like why? Like if everything's destined, why do you need to send your vision? It's so weird. Like, and I guess this is pretty standard with House of the Dragon. Like that, an episode will forget the previous episode. Like last episode, Oscar Tully specifically said that he supports Rhaenyra even though he hates Damon. And everybody supports Tully, you know, and that's where Damon's support is. So why all of a sudden this episode is he like, well, they all support me. And it's still my decision on like whether I'm gonna like have them like be king myself or it's gonna be Rhaenyra. So much so that Simon Strong sends a letter to Rhaenyra. Like, did they not see the previous fucking episode?
Homie,
Like,
this is like consistently a problem as well. It's almost as though the writers for like they there's like 100 writers and they got 20 guys to work on this episode, 20 guys to work on this episode.
It's like they're writing them in vacuums.
Yeah, like no one is talking to each other. What's happening?
Like, how can like that Elmo Tully scene goes on for quite a bit. He insults Damon over and over again and says, it's all about oaths and I support Rhaenyra because we made an oath, even though I despise like our prince. And then the next fucking episode, it's like, well, they all follow me. No, they fucking don't. We just fucking watched episode 7. Like, you can't just change everything fundamentally, like, to the next episode. Like,
can we have this conversation? Because I keep seeing quite a number of people. I saw a couple of YouTubers say this, and I saw a couple of people who write articles for websites say this. Just because we criticize the show doesn't mean it's hateful and toxic. There's actual like, are you guys serious right now? Really? Okay.
I mean,
okay. Because some of these guys get the screeners ahead of us before we do doesn't mean like, because these people that get the screeners, they never criticize anything. And I'm not talking about one YouTuber.
This is the whole curse. This is the whole curse of being a screener or an influencer, getting your free tickets. Okay, you can't tell your honest opinion. Okay,
you can't.
And
there's a YouTuber by the name of Eckhart's Ladder who got the screeners for Ahsoka, and he was critical of it, and then they wouldn't give him the screeners for Acolyte.
Yeah,
because he was. It happens all the time.
Mm-hmm. That's why you don't ever want to be like one of the followers. Like, yeah, you don't ever want to be one of the promoters.
Well, I may have found my way around that because of the contact I have. He has screeners, and so when I get stuff, I'll make sure you get it too. Hey, real quick before anything, did you see the Dunkin' Egg thing?
I didn't watch it yet. No, I'm sorry.
I put it up as a short. I can send it to you if you'd like to put it up.
Let's see. Condal kind of forgot that this was an 8-episode season. I mean, he forgot to connect any of the things that happened. Like from one episode to another. Like by episode 8, does anyone remember that Jaehaerys died? Like, is that a relevant plot point in any respect? Because Helena's over it. Alicent's over it. Aegon's over it. Like, no one fucking remembers that Jaehaerys died. In fact, even Rhaenyra at the end makes like a son for a son like comment. It just doesn't seem right also that Rhaenyra asked Alicent to behead her son, and Alicent was like, okay. Like, what the fuck? Like, you definitely don't need to behead Aegon. You don't need to. I mean,
you know what's going to happen next season, right?
When exile him, you can send him to the wall. It was ridiculous. It was a ridiculous ask, and it was ridiculous for Alicent to agree to it. That's like, oh my God.
But you know what's going to happen next season, right? It's already like all over. What's going to happen next season is because Aegon is gone,
Yeah.
and this episode ends with Alicent and Rhaenyra being on cool terms. But now they're going to be on bad terms again next season because Aegon is gone, and
Aegon's gone.
Rhaenyra is going to
You agreed to sacrifice your son to me.
and Rhaenyra is going to accuse Alicent of hiding her son, and Alicent's going to like claim no, and they're going to continue that fucking conflict. Yeah, it writes itself.
Yeah. Well, that was an episode. I mean, it's really weird. It's really weird that they're chalking up the fall of King's Landing to Alicent's complicity. Like, what was the fucking point of like Damon having connections in the Gold Cloaks and Mysaria like fomenting dissent the entire fucking season when it's just going to be Alicent like bringing down the gates? Like, it's just silly. Like, what was the fucking point? Again, it's just like, what was the point of like episodes 1 through 7? Like, oh my.
Real quick about the Helena thing. Why would Helena go out of her way to project herself in Damon's vision and to tell him all this helpful stuff? No. To tell him all this helpful stuff when she should be pissed that he had her son killed.
Yes, of course.
It's Davos and Tyrion all over again.
Davos, yeah, you're right. You're right, yes. Oh yeah, you killed my son. You killed my son.
Also, why didn't they end the episode on her taking King's Landing? Because the agreement is set. Like, why don't... Because it would have... Story-wise, it would have made perfect sense, because at the beginning of the season, Rhaenyra is at a low place, and at the end, you could have her literally at a high place, taking the city. Why?
I mean, I would have ended the season with either Jace's death to parallel Luke's death, or to have her like take King's Landing at the end. And it's like she had end a low place at the end of season 1, high place end of season 2, or something like that.
Hold on, Ryan Condell just texted me. He said it's really cool to have Rhaenyra and Alicent meet up again. All the money was spent on that. I mean,
twice they fucking had two ridiculous, useless meetings this season. Oh my gosh.
And it doesn't mean good because Aegon's gone.
The three-eyed crow looked like a CW special effect. I guess with his weird birthmark and the crow coming out.
So okay, that vision, we have to talk about that because
yeah,
there are a lot of people who were firmly in the camp that House of the Dragon is Ryan Condell's attempt to do his own cinematic universe in the A Song of Ice and Fire. But in the vision, you see Daenerys, and you see she has her hair.
Yeah.
So it's technically... Who's that?
That's
Who the
Trey.
fuck is... Oh, I'm about to say. Trey. Oh, Trey, tell him. Tell him the thing, Trey.
Hold on.
What?
Let me
Tell him. Tell him what I wrote to you on Discord. Tell him.
He told me, Carmine told me to...
No, I didn't tell you shit. It's your... you need to... Trey wants you to put on your headphones.
Some person told... Okay. Well, my original idea is that you should put on your headphones.
Thank you, Trey.
Guys, this is an intervention. This is a fucking trap. All for my fucking headphones.
Oh, Trey.
Fine.
By the way, Trey, I replied to that fucking tweet you sent me. This fandom was a mistake, buddy.
Oh yeah, that tweet is insane. What an insane! I liked your tweet, your reply.
Wait. Is the tweet implying that like who's the person performing the fellatio? Lyanna?
No, I think it's Ned Stark. I think the idea is that Ned Stark is blowing Robert.
Wait, what are you guys talking about?
Nah, don't worry about it. It's a behind the scenes deleted scene from.
There's a behind the scenes deleted scene of Ned filleting Robert. What?
Here, I'll send
this motherfucker sends me a tweet out of the blue, like, look at this. Like, oh, what is this?
I just thought I don't have too many other friends that are into Game of Thrones, so I was like, I guess I'll send this to Carmine. I was like, this is so insane. What an insane tweet somebody crafted.
Holy shit, this is insane. Carmine, look at this.
What is it? Is this on your wall, Trey, or is this on Carmine's wall?
You want me to send it to him?
Yeah, it's
Trey?
on Carmine's wall.
No, it's not. No, fuck it is not. I cannot put that up. Here, let me send you what he said. He's out of his mind.
Carmine retweeted it. Carmine.
Did I retweet it?
Told all his friends. No, you didn't. You just replied on it, I think.
Hold on. Here,
I like how I come in and I'm...
and then everything goes off the rails.
I thought the joke was that Lyanna was like... Oh no, I'm stupid. I didn't. Okay, now I'm making. Oh god, that's even
It
worse.
was-
What do you guys?
That's
What do you
even
guys? What, do
worse.
you- what am I looking for here?
I just sent to you on Facebook. I hope I
On
sent it to you, not
Facebook.
someone else.
Okay.
Yeah.
oh God.
I've got a
Oh
fucking.
God.
So Trey, great episode or greatest episode?
It was solid. It was solid. It was.
No, I think it's the end. I don't think there's any coming back from this.
I wouldn't go that far.
I really didn't like. I kind of had prepped. Here's the thing: is I was prepped a little bit of what was going to happen in this, but yeah, I really didn't like what happened with the Damon stuff. And yeah, and like it kind of had like kind of a meh ending. Like we're just kind of supposed to be excited for these future battles that will happen in like 2 years. Like, okay, all right.
So
Damon stuff.
This is what you guys sent me. Okay, I can't wait to be heir to Storm's End. And like Dad, bro, we are in Ned Stark's mouth. Is this supposed to be? This is supposed to be Robert semen? Are these pale sticky princes? These are pale sticky princes, but rather than being consumed by Cersei, they're being consumed by Ned.
You're right that it would make more sense if it was Cersei, because that is literally something in the book. But yeah,
the pale sticky princes. Yeah.
I don't know what that's implying though. That Robert and Ned were hanging out in the Vale.
I mean, heir to Storm's End at that point. You're right, because it's not even heir to the throne.
Let me send
it's
this
heir
to
Storm's
you
End.
because this literally happened like 14 minutes before the episode. So let me send this to you. You can download it. It's like literally super.
Not a fan of the Metamodern Game of Thrones as a story. You're a character angle. Sarah S. has some bad habits carried over from writing on House. I mean, that is true. That at this point, there's a very large meta element where the Weirwood is George's face. So George is God. He's the old gods. They're all characters in a story. And the story is the thing that binds us all together. So it's not even like the story. It's not even like the story at the Great Council at the end. It's like our story. Like we're the ones all bound together by the story, you know?
So I want to
piggyback
off something.
Friends we made along the way.
I want to piggyback off something off Martin's just said.
Hated it.
And I'm going to ask this. I'm going to pose this question to both of you because Preston, you once said that Samuel Tarly is a George character insert, right?
Yeah, but George has a lot of character inserts. But yeah.
Well, Sam specifically, do you think this do you think Sarah Hess has inserted herself as the Alys Rivers character? I'll tell you why. Because her dislike of Damon is fairly well known. She's talked about it several times, and the entire she was very excited about the character of Alys that, I'm assuming she wrote a good chunk of that. And the entire character of Alys is almost like a mom scolding Damon the entire season. Yeah. And is now showing Damon this vision of the future, which is meta. It's meta commentary about why he needs to shape the fuck up and quit being the rogue prince and quit just to get into it. It almost seems like Sarah Hess has inserted herself as this character of Alys, who admittedly is a really cool female character. And
I mean, I loved Alys Rivers up until this episode, and in which she just fucking gave away. She just gave away the story, nudging people along the way. We weren't sure if she's real or not. I think they were hedging their bets on that because there's definitely scenes where she disappears and people aren't paying attention to her, and then all of a sudden she's real. No. People did say it would have been kind of funny had Broom arrives and he just finds Damon in a corner with shit smeared on his face and there's no army and the entire season has just been in his head. And they're like, what the fuck were you doing? That
So
kind
I
of would have been
guess-
funny.
Now the plot hole is that why didn't Alys show Damon this vision when he first got there to shape him up?
Right. Day one.
Day one, what's with this testing? Because this is why what we were saying earlier about how
he had to open his third eye, Carmine. He had to slowly cause it to be opened. He couldn't just
Trey,
like touch the tree.
She fed him
Before you
Weirwood
came
paste.
in
Yeah,
here.
she fed
Yeah.
Weirwood paste.
It's true.
Yeah.
She fed him some Jojen, a little cold glass of Jojen.
Technically, she has been feeding him some Weirwood paste all season. So
yeah, and he's been sleeping on the Weirwood bed. I'm just surprised. I'm surprised they didn't bang. I mean, there was some weird implication where like he wakes up and she's in his bed and he's like, and it's just like normal for him, you know? It's like,
don't you ever sleep? That's some. I like that. But Trey, before you came on, we were talking about how the writers don't communicate, and it really feels like they don't.
Oh yeah.
Whose idea was this to make Alys
this whole season? This whole season, and then last season, like there's like a weird discommunication in the writers' room where like episode to episode, you just like they're
no
like
connection.
they don't really. Yeah, there's no connection. Like they don't talk or something. I don't know what the deal is. Somebody's not going through the continuity or something like that.
Oh, yeah. And before I get off this, the antler person, the deer person.
Oh yeah, the green men show up. Yeah. We saw Green Man.
Yeah, I didn't see him. I heard a clunk clunk. But did you see?
Let me give it to you. Yeah, I took a screen
there
cap.
is an image. There is a silhouette.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you see a silhouette of a green man. It's like, oh. And we see the God's Eye. We actually see the God's Eye with the Weirwoods in this. I know we saw it in like trailers and stuff. But yeah, I was like genuinely surprised because like Green Man is like that's something that George R. Martin has been hyping up forever.
Well, here's the thing though about the Green Men. In the subtitles, it doesn't say Green Men. It says antlered human shape. Whatever the fuck that is.
Oh.
So it's almost like
it says the Weirwood branches grafted to his skull.
Yes, that's right. They're actually Weirwood branches grafted to the skull.
It says it in the subtitles.
Yes, and it's parentheses actually, like in Song for Leah. Like
actually, the subtitles say this. Wait, your subtitles say that? Because mine says antler human shape, clip clopping. Grumbles.
The subtitles did help me because earlier they said there's a traitor on the wind. Like the wind says traitor.
Oh yeah. With Alfred.
Mm-hmm. I even mentioned that.
Oh yeah, Carmine, look at this. Yeah, Carmine sent me the screenshot of Green Man.
Is
this it?
Well.
It's pretty clear that it's like a human wearing clothes with like an antler.
Right, but the subtitles here, antler human shape, clip clopping. It made it sound like this. I wonder if
that guy needs to be strapped to a trebuchet and thrown over the Blackwater. Okay, that's where
they're making it sound like this is so, like as silly as this is. You know how in Warhammer you have the Beastmen, literally like monster men mashed together. It's almost the subtitles make it sound like something like that. And so what would Alys Rivers' position here be? Like emissary to the Green Men? What's her whole thing? Green Seer?
I mean, you know that they don't have answers and they're making this up as they go along. You know that. You know that they fucking don't know. They're just like, fuck, throw in an antler man. Throw him in. Throw in a Green Man. And then do prophecy Bloodraven, three-eyed crow. Bloodraven. He's not born yet, but he can time travel and eggs and long night and nobody's seen a fucking vision. Nobody's seen a vision of Arya jumping out of a fucking tree because that's the fucking like linchpin to it all. Danny doesn't do shit.
The crow came out of his birthmark.
Yeah, the crow came out. He didn't have a. I guess he lost his birthmark by the. I mean, if it's the same dude, we don't even know if the guy in Game of Thrones is Bloodraven. He got
some plastic surgery. He got it laser removed.
He got it lasered removed.
But realistically speaking, what would Alys's position be at this point? Because is she the current three-eyed crow? Is she a green? Like, what is she?
Well, she's a force witch.
She's one of those lesbian force witches from.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, the idea is if you have an existing lore and an existing religion, and you feel it's become a little stale, just throw in like a strange lesbian witch on the side, and
Jesus,
it all works. You know, that's what I'm saying.
I like how we're talking about House of the Dragon and this one random asshole is like, thoughts on Sansa as a character, her story. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
Tyland was great in this episode. So it seems from the comments, people are pretty mixed on the Tyland story. I enjoyed the Tyland story a lot.
That should be the whole show right there at this point.
Fun.
That was great.
Yeah, you're right. That should have been the whole,
there's finally like levity.
By the way,
levity,
do you both know that Lohar is a fellow YouTuber?
Yeah. Philosophy Tube, right? Or something like that.
Abigail Thorne. Yep.
Really?
I will say I don't know.
Did they call her he at the beginning of the episode?
Yeah, I saw he in the subtitle. So I was wondering what they were doing with the gender of the character, because Lohar is like a throwaway name.
Right. In the books, the character is obviously a man, but they definitely called the character a he, and the character later has wives. But obviously Abigail Thorne is. But in the inside the episode afterwards, they were calling the character a she. The writers were. Oh, so I don't know.
More the
nobody knows anything.
And I think Abigail.
No one's communicating.
I think Abigail Thorne tweeted about her character, and I think she used she as well. So I guess you could say that like maybe like the other pirates are bigoted or something like that, and yeah, she's such an amazing character. I love her. Yeah. So according to the actress, it's a she. They're she. So they might be combining.
Do you feel like insecure, Trey, because she has 500,000 more subscribers than you?
Yes.
She's a 1.5 man, 1.5 million. You know, you with your mere 1.04.
I'm not big enough. I just got the insecurities.
One day you'll be asked to be on a pirate on House of the Dragon.
On House of the Dragon.
Honestly, homie, why the fuck not? Right? Am I right? Not? Like, why the fuck not? Hey.
Because I think Abigail Thorne was in The Acolyte too, right? Like she's gotten several roles.
Oh no.
Was she? Abigail, was she one of the witches?
She was doing Star Wars. Like I know that she was tweeting about that she was in Star Wars as well. So she's pretty successful. Yeah, she was in The Acolyte as well.
I mean, I get it. She's got a really expressive face and you know, it's
and amazing teeth. There's a moment where she smiles and like, nice my teeth. God, those teeth, amazing. Wow.
Yeah. So we don't know if Tyland is banging he/her or the wives or what's going on, but it's that
was the most fun part of the episode. That was great.
I was happy for him.
Again. Yes.
Was. And I like how they actually dyed people's hair and beards. There's like a guy that looked like Dario.
That's right.
Yeah, I like that.
Actually had Tyrashi with blue hair and their blue dye in their beards. That was I'm all for that. And it looked okay.
We need Giscari people with crazy like horns and horn hair and dragon wings.
Because wasn't the whole thing? Oh, we can't make Dario look stupid, you know? But that guy had blue in his beard, and he looked fine.
Yeah.
Would have worked the whole time.
Why not?
Aemond is the closest thing to an arc. Also, Aegon. This season, I suppose. I mean, I'm trying to think of like the one that makes the most sense. I mean, I suppose Aegon would make the most sense on like where he went. You know, he was angry at the death of his son. Then he's angry about being useless, and then gets hurt, and then he's just super depressed because he's.
Wait, he does? Aemond? Really?
No, Aegon. Aemond. I'm sorry. Aemond just is angry the whole season. His arc is you made fun of my sex worker, or you made fun of me in front of my sex worker. Now I'm going to become king.
Oh, that's. Are you for real? That sucks.
Isn't that really Aemond's plot?
You're right that like he's me and Carmine were talking about how he's kind of inconsistent. Like early in the season, they were kind of saying that he doesn't want violence. He doesn't like violence or whatever. Like it was an accident with Luke,
right?
And they and like I don't know. He's just so radically different. It doesn't feel gradual. It doesn't feel like a natural progression. Like why have that introduced his character?
Yes, you're absolutely right. there is something weird about the Aemond character, because like okay, if we go really far back. Aemond is upset and is upset about being teased and the fact that he doesn't have a dragon. So then he is kind of angry and jerky, but he gets his dragon. But then he's hyper calm after losing his eye and is like, it was a fair exchange. Like out of nowhere has like the amount of calm that no child would ever have. So then
his eye is still bleeding.
Yeah. So then he's super calm for the rest of that season. Super, super calm and reserved. The only time he loses his temper is is with Luke at the end, which I guess makes sense because it's about his eye. Then he loses his temper over the sky and starts the whole war. But he regrets it. And then he's at the beginning of the season, he's regretting killing Luke. And then all of a sudden he goes full anger and is just like angry the rest of the season. Like there's nothing cool and collected about him anymore.
Trey and I I don't know if you watched or listened to the podcast we did. Trey and I were talking about how he's basically a Power Rangers villain. Not even anime. Anime is cool. He's a Power Rangers villain. You dare to summon me, Dracarys. Yeah. It's like, my dude, what the fuck is that voice? What is that? You dare to summon me. Da! I will destroy you, Power Rangers. Gah!
Yeah, you're right. If it were an anime villain, he'd have like 10 minutes of exposition, like explaining
and a cool theme song,
explaining his backstory. You know, there'd be a moment where he'd be like, "You may all think I'm out of control, but in fact, I am very much in control. You may remember a time where I lost my eye. Well, I kept my cool then, didn't I? Ha ha ha!
You know, Preston has never seen anime because it would really. Trey knows what I'm talking about. It would usually be something
Speed Racer. That's like a 1980s dub sounding.
You're saying my anime references are too old?
Yes. Trey knows what I'm talking about. It'd be something like, "This world is cruel. It has given me much, but it is not enough. This world must be destroyed."
I mean, I was thinking, just think about how there was so much exposition dump in Death Note, and and I'm trying to think of a few other. What's the one with the Sector 17? Japan is Sector 17. Is that? I was like,
is that
heavy
Ghost in the Shell or something? What is it?
No.
Sector.
Like Britannia has taken over.
Oh, Code Geass. It's with the robots and the guy that has the eye power. Yes.
Yeah, that also was heavy exposition.
Yes, it was. It was great.
I liked Ulf and Jace having conflicting stories. What do you think of Ulf? Do you think Ulf is funny and entertaining, or is he a little too buffoonish? I'm surprised they just didn't fucking kill him.
I feel like he's just not likable at all. He's just so unlikable. Like, they need him to be charming or something, and I don't know if the character's playing it like that. Yeah.
I mean, what would be interesting is if they swap the Hugh and Ulf kind of stories, and it's like Hugh that acts like a real horrible person, and then it's Ulf who like ultimately is like loyal to the queen. Like that would be a kind of a more interesting twist if they did that later. You know?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Like they're setting it up. They're setting up the fact that Ulf is this like horrible piece of shit, and in fact, like he's the one that stays loyal. You know, and it's really Adam of Hull who's like becomes a bastard at the end.
I'd like that. Yeah. Adam of Hull is the betrayer, and Ulf is actually the hero. Yeah, sure. Why not? Do it. Pull it.
Did Gawain figure out Cole banged his sister because of the handkerchief? That's what I took.
Yeah, he was smelling the panties. He was smelling the handkerchief.
He smelled, but I mean, like, you know, doesn't he get, you know, just a handkerchief though? But you're right that he figured it out from that. he's just like, you banged my sister because you have her handkerchief. I was like, that's
so random though. Like, why do you really care that much, or is it because you're Dornish?
We finally got a little bit of explanation. A little bit of explanation
with that.
About she saved me from the headsman's axe, and I was like, whoa.
About this too. So I was like, that? Why couldn't we get that?
Right. Yeah. Like, why didn't we have that?
Well, we also got because remember there was like this confusion that he's from the Dornish marches, right?
Right. This time they said he was from Dorne, like straight up from Dorne, not even from the Dornish marches. And you're like, how are you fighting against the Dornish now? I don't. His backstory. His backstory's fucked. You know, they just fucked up his backstory.
Well, because you're totally right that like a writer thought the Dornish marches were in Dorne. Like somebody didn't think. Somebody didn't do the geography.
And now they're just like, fuck, we committed to the it was an error, but we're just gonna keep fucking going with it. You're like, somehow he's Dornish and he fought against Dorne. He was like, you know, Japanese Americans in World War II, you know, like, you know, he's Dornish, but he you know, he has a lot of, you know, he moved to the Stormlands and he wanted to really be a Stormlander.
He's a first generation Stormlander.
Yeah. First generation Stormlander, trying to prove, you know, his
one of the writers
worth.
Is watching this right now. Get that down. Write that down. Can we tell the others? No. We'll put this in there. Seriously, it really does not feel like these motherfuckers have spoken to each other. It really does not.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
They need to get on teams. And see, you guys don't have regular jobs, but like they need to get on teams. They need to have a teams working group about, like, you know, connecting, like episode 7, episode 8, like had teams meeting, have a meeting for an hour, and then like move on. Like what was the thing?
Actress needs to go like, okay, Alicent's bisexual or whatever.
What? She was chewing her fingers this episode, and I was like,
they finally did that.
Yeah, I was like, are they bringing that back? Are they bringing? She didn't really chew them before. She like dug.
It'll be gone next season, Preston. They're not going to be
gone next season. Wow.
I mean, I have no idea. I mean, maybe it'll come back. I mean, why was this? This is the thing. But yes, Gawain. I think he figured it out from the handkerchief. I don't know if I bought the explanation. It's like, you banged my sister. Well, let me go on this very nihilistic rant about how we're all gonna fucking die in ash underneath the feet of dragons. Okay, fine. Like, wait, was that good enough? That was good enough? You like now, well, you know.
He said that your house's name will be soiled or something like that. He said right. Your house's name will be soiled for a generation. But then again, he did it in front of a massive group of people, and they're probably going to tell anyways because they were all surrounded.
Right, like why were those dudes like upset? Oh yeah, Kristen Cole banged. I mean, they're all gonna die, but it doesn't matter. But so the secret's gonna die with him. But man,
I was a little annoyed with the fact that Rhaenyra didn't allow like Aegon to take the wall. I thought that was a little weird. Like she's like, I have to kill him.
Yeah, definitely doesn't need to.
Because in the source material, they offer the wall to him.
They offer the wall all the time, or the fucking, or exile or whatever. Like the Blackfires. Yeah. You don't.
But doesn't that make no sense considering as long as Aegon lives, though there's a possibility that the war could continue on in some regard, even in the future. Doesn't that go for all the kids? Exactly.
Like I mean, you can behead Aegon, but now it's just Aemond. You can behead, you can stab a sword through Aemond's eye, and now it's Daeron. It doesn't fucking matter. It goes on for fucking ever.
No, yeah, that's the point. Yeah, keep killing them all. Yeah, wipe them all out.
No, that's why you capture one. You capture one, and you have one as a hostage. You have one as a cupbearer at court. Like you have Aegon be her fucking.
I want more battles, man. I my attention span is very bad.
I want more cupbearing.
By the way, real quick, before we hop off the Gwaine thing, it's so random, but it would have made more sense had Gwaine shown any ambition to wanting to be Kingsguard. That would make more sense, like why he's so upset at what's his face, Cole.
Oh, is breaking his oath, yeah.
For breaking his oath, like they should have at least given us like a hint that Gwaine wants to be part of the Kingsguard.
Well, I mean, this is a society of oaths. I mean, everybody, the whole legal system is based on oaths. Oscar Tully, the Grouch, was all about oaths. You know, it's all about oaths. Oaths to Rhaenyra, oath. You know, so it's all good. What's up with Otto? I don't know what's up with Otto. The most basic answer is that somehow Mysaria, with her newfound power, decided to track the motherfucker down and capture him. That's the least interesting answer, because the most logical and least interesting answer.
He's in the cell, and then like he looks up, and then he kind of like smirks a little. So it's somebody he knows and would like find ironic or something like that. Yeah.
So that's the most logical answer, is that it's Mysaria. Now, something more interesting is like Varys or Orwyle or somebody.
Varys.
Time traveling Varys. Yes. Bloodraven. It's Alys Rivers. Alys fucking okay. The best answer would be Alys Rivers. Like fucking. Like what?
I feel like that'd be the worst answer, but well, remember, Otto doesn't have that much long, because after Rhaenyra takes King's Landing, his ass is cooked. So
that's true.
So someone has to be. I didn't think it would be Mysaria. That's a good fucking point. Or Beesbury, because remember, he was supposed to go in episode 2. He was supposed to go to the Tyrells.
Beesbury's still alive. You thought I was dead. Ha! Like House Beesbury captured him.
Or House Caswell, because that was on the way.
House Beesbury can warg bees. He warged a bee and has a second life in a bee colony.
That's right. Beesbury is in a bee. Fuck yeah.
The queen bee. He went into the queen bee.
But there's another thing, is that Otto is too good of a character. They didn't want to have him killed off too quickly. They didn't want to have him executed by Rhaenyra when she took King's Landing. So they want some other plot for him to like extend it out or something.
I take that. I like the Otto actor. He's fun. He's pretty dang good.
Yeah. He's great. He's great. I mean, he's great at.
It's like Simon Strong.
You see Notting Hill?
I've not seen Notting Hill.
Oh, really?
No.
Notting Hill is one of these romantic comedies that like I have a sweet spot for some reason, but he plays like Hugh Grant's stupid friend. And he's quite funny. He's quite funny in it.
Are you boys ready for the new bullshit for this season? You ready for the new bullshit? Because I disagree with this. I've enjoyed season 2 for the most part, but straight from this Twitter account, did I just watch a 70-minute trailer for season 3? I don't know if I go that far.
Wouldn't go that far. I mean, the ending was definitely a trailer for season 3, but
the montage,
the ending was kind of. I was like, all right.
But I mean, you know, stuff happened. We watched Tyland mud wrestle with a YouTuber. We watched
and be offered to fuck their wives, all like 60 of them, or however many they have.
The three of us need to sit down, because I've actually been taking screenshots of people's bad takes on this season, and you and I, like, I'm not going to sound like a pretentious asshole and say you and I have the best takes, but at least our criticisms have, again, substance.
We have the best. We have the motherfucking best takes.
I wouldn't go that far, but you have this one woman here who, for what I always, whenever I see someone that's not a content creator or influencer or a business person or a company having the blue check mark, I laugh, because you just want your tweets seen normally, okay? But this woman here, Michelle J, says, but I'm a fucking content creator, so
okay. Fair enough.
This woman, Michelle J, says, "I'm so disappointed. It was terrible. How much time was wasted on that Lannister scene, and why? I mean, if you actually bothered to look up from your phone,
it
was fun.
It's like you're taking the best part of the episode and like you know, there was a monkey, sexual chemistry. Like different costumes, stuff that was
guys
fun.
with blue beards.
There was a dancer.
Trey, that's how Bela gets her monkey.
You know, it's better than fucking Rhaena running around a field starved.
Oh, Trey, I was talking to this one YouTuber who got the screener, and he was explaining to me what was going down before he showed it to me. He goes, yeah, and I asked him, like, so Nettles? He goes, no, man, but Rhaena, what does she do? She runs around, and then that's it.
That's it. She
Like,
runs around.
She
somehow
for like 3 scenes.
And she spends the night like outside, like they didn't fucking find her. Like nobody was like, where's the king consort's daughter? We should probably fucking find her.
They're gonna be upset if we lose her and she's dead by a
shadow. She's dead in a ditch.
Who had
the fucking mountain clans take her, because that's how, they're in the Vale, right? The mountain clans are there.
Yeah, mountain clan. Wait, you want her, you know, kidnapped and raped by a mountain clan? Like, Jesus, where? Man, oh man, that's rough.
Who had the monkey? Was it Bela or Rhaena? Am I right on Bela?
Oh, in the book,
because there's a monkey. Because isn't the monkey that like Davos is compared to, right?
Mark Mullendor? He has a monkey. How many people have monkeys?
No, Bela in the source material has a monkey. So I forgot. So I wonder if this is how Bela gets the monkey. But this is the Triarchy ships.
Bela does get a pet monkey. You're right, Carmine.
Yeah. So this is how it
deep
happens.
Cut. Carmine with the deep cuts.
Yeah, bro, I literally I was there with you. I was there. We did this.
Is this the monkey that Davos is compared to? Because remember, Davos is compared to a monkey. They're like, is it like Alistair Florence, like making fun of him? Put a monkey in a little clothes.
Is there a Davos monkey scene? Davos monkey?
Yeah, or he remembers. He remembers that like Alistair Florence talks about there was a Targaryen princess with a pet monkey, and they made it wear clothes. Okay. They made it wear clothes and that, but it didn't stop it from being a monkey. Like people would have to pretend it was a real person. And he was like making fun of Davos, that Davos is like a peasant, and giving him new clothes won't change that.
Was this in the show?
It's beautiful. This is a beautiful. No, it's in the books. This is in the one of the many Davos chapters.
I know. I mean, I'm searching for the word monkey in the Davos chapter.
Sorry,
ape?
He says ape.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think he says ape.
Here we go. You're right. Okay, here it is. A Dance with Dragons, Davos 2. It says here, Sir Axel Florent had entertained the table with the tale of a Targaryen princeling.
Princeling. Okay.
Who kept an ape as a pet. The prince liked to dress the creature in his dead son's clothes and pretend he was a child, Sir Axel claimed, and from time to time he would propose marriages for him. The lords so honored always declined politely, but of course they did decline. Even dressed in silk and velvet, an ape remains an ape, Sir Axel said. A wiser prince would have known you cannot send an ape to do a man's work. The queen's men laughed, and several grinned at Davos. I am no ape, he thought. I'm as much a lord as you, and a better man. But the memory still stung.
By the way, the longer
so I think there's multiple apes. Which Targaryen princeling had this fucking ape then?
I'm on the Song of Ice and Fire Westeros.org or whatever. There's a footnote under ape. On the ape page, it says, as Queen Visenya and Lady Bela are the only Targaryens known to have kept an ape as a pet, Alistair Florence's tale, meant to insult Davos, is potentially a bastardized telling of these stories. So kind of coping.
That's it. Not just some fucking mistake.
George made a mistake. No. This is like some galaxy brain. George knows that history will be corrupted.
Or it could be something random. It could just be like, I mean, Targaryen princeling, because he went to. It had to be a princeling that was powerful enough. Like it can't just be fucking like Aemond Targaryen or something. It has to be like a powerful princeling. Like it sounds like something that like Aerion Brightflame would do, right?
Yeah, it does sound like something. Yeah. Maybe it's, Maybe we'll get it in the Duncan Egg show. We'll see his monkey. It'll be on his shoulder.
Maybe we'll get it in the fucking fanfic. New Admiral Kurd video is out. You're gonna love it. I watched the Admiral Kurd video.
I sent it to you.
Yeah. Well, I watched it. Very well put together. I don't think I buy the thesis in the end, because it's fundamentally it's a really fun video. But fundamentally, you can't just track people like a human being's progress in a statistical model. That's just not how it works, and it's not how George works.
Okay, who is Admiral Kurd? What does that mean?
Yeah, I'm sorry, he's a YouTuber. He's a YouTuber.
Admiral Kurd is a YouTuber. Did a video. Who's also in the show too.
He's most famous for doing a video on how can all of the chapters that are supposed to fit in the Dance into the Winds of Winter fit in the Winds of Winter.
Oh, I think I've seen that video. Yeah.
Yeah. Which that's one of those cases where I disagree with a lot of his specifics, but I understand the general premises, right? That there's way too many points of view and there's way too many chapters that need to be in each point of view for George to do it. And I agree, but it can also be done if you just get rid of Jon, keep Jon dead, or something like that. And then you free up 10 chapters right there, or cut him down a bit. But anyway, he had one about statistical rate of George's writing and when it's Winds of Winter is going to come out. And he came up with the date with the year 2036.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's 2036.
I was just joking.
No.
Well,
yeah.
How old will George be at that date?
I mean, that's the other thing. It's clearly George will be way too old at that point. George also writes. He writes in big clumps at once when he gets motivated, and then he doesn't write. So it's hard to really calculate George's rate.
Well, and sometimes he's just busy. He spent time molding his face for Weirwood and stuff like that.
Right.
Or maybe,
he doesn't write when he travels. And
88. Oh god, it'll be 88 if it comes out in 36. It's
something
pretty old.
That. I forget if it was 36 or 32. It doesn't matter, but it was something in the 30s. But yeah.
Carmine, who is this? What did you send me here? What is this?
I sent Preston the same thing. It's the 6-second teaser clip to A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms Duncan Egg.
Oh, I thought this guy was Laurie's. I thought the Laurie's actor just they recast him or something. Let's see. Oh, there's Egg.
I sent it to you too, Preston.
So they're fast. They're kind of fast with this filming because I think just last month or last couple months they're doing shooting, right?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, yeah. I keep telling everyone this. We talk about this almost every recording. HBO has nothing. It's Harry Potter, Game of Thrones, Euphoria, maybe. That's it.
Not even Euphoria.
They got the Dune prequel, and they've got Penguin.
The Dune prequel. Are there any worms in it? If so, who cares?
I will say that it looks beautiful, but it also looks boring.
Oh, Preston, did you see they changed the name?
Yeah. I saw.
From Sisterhood to Prophecy, they're trying to avoid that bullshit. I don't blame them.
I'm sure they focus grouped it. What do you think of the theory that Garland Tyrell was the one who poisoned Tyrion's pie at the Purple Wedding at the behest of Olenna and Peter? I've heard the theory with him poisoning the wine, but it doesn't matter. There's this really old theory that in fact Olenna Tyrell passed off the poison to Garland, who then put it in the wine or the pie or whatever. And it's one of those theories I'm just what's the fucking point? It doesn't change a goddamn thing. You're still Team Tyrell doing the same fucking thing. You can make it Leonette Fossaway if you want to. It doesn't fucking matter. I mean, I think the theory is Garland's very fit and he's very agile, so he might be a great person to do it. You're just who fucking cares? Who fucking if it's Olenna or if it's Garland or if it's Leonette Fossaway, it doesn't fucking matter. They can be the same fucking character. It doesn't.
And does anybody have any strong opinions on Garland Tyrell? what fan is like, oh, holy shit, it's
God changes everything. It's just one of those very useless theories out there.
Preston just broke the heart of some random YouTuber out there who wanted to make his bones on this fucking theory.
No, I mean the theory is like, first of all, the theory is like a good 8 years old. Like it's a very old theory. And I remember coming across it because, you know, I had to do the Purple Wedding video. And so I read everything, you know, with regards to it. And it's just like,
no, brother, I agree with you. It's what the, like, no, I agree with you 100%. It's dumb. All of these theories are old and people are just trying to be the next Preston Jacobs. No, I agree with you. I'm with you 100%.
Well, in Damon's vision, Bloodraven had both eyes. This is bitter. Oh my God, you're right. Well, he also looked really young. He didn't look like an albino.
I didn't even notice.
He didn't look like an albino, and he
looked under 30.
Yeah, he looked like. I mean, he looked a little, as somebody said, CW-ish.
He wasn't. Carmine's gonna laugh at me. He wasn't as hot as all the fans were hoping he was gonna be. All the Bloodraven fan art makes him like really like hot anime character looking. So I'm
Trey.
So I think people
who
are
these fans? Name these fans. I didn't see any. Were there fans hoping he was hot? I didn't see any of this.
Yeah. You're trying to tell me there are like, is there some good like romance fanfic with like Bloodraven and Bittersteel? But like
there probably is.
It's not sure.
Like, just look up Bloodraven fan art, and all of like almost all of them make him like this like anime villain looking. Like I guess he's kind of described like crazy, but
let me see here. I'm looking at the. Okay, I'm trying to find.
It's mostly him with Shi'ar Seastar, I guess, is like the fan art. It's like him with Shi'ar Seastar and then like planning together or whatever.
Okay, let's see.
This motherfucker's on his iPad.
Yeah. So.
He's just some guy.
He's just some guy, but yeah, you're right. Does he have two eyes? I guess he has two eyes. And a birthmark. And I mean, he was pretty old when he went to the wall already. So I don't know what they're doing. I mean, maybe the idea is that like he first connected to the Weirwood prior to that, like back when he was, I don't know.
He's like the waif. Maybe he ate that like poison that kept him young or whatever. What does the waif have?
Oh, right. Or, you know, why didn't they have Danelle Lawson like in some visions too? Like, why not? If you're going Bloodraven.
Yeah.
The Bittersteel erasure beneath the gold. Yeah, where is Bittersteel in any of these visions? Ugh.
Do you think they're going to use that actor in Dunk and Egg? It's going to be the same guy playing.
Oh, good idea.
Yeah.
Good idea. Maybe that's why they just shoved him in there.
I think they're doing like kind of like a Star Wars connected cinematic universe Marvel sort of thing where they're going to reuse that actor.
They're definitely doing that.
And they're like, and so when people watch Dunk and Egg, they're like, holy shit, it's that guy from House of the Dragon. I didn't recognize these like show on fans.
Preston, Carmine, Trey, what did you guys enjoy more? Aegon saying my cock exploded or Tyland mud wrestling a lady pirate? Best part was Alan Abu Bakr Salim finally emoting. So I quite liked the mud wrestling, but I think the cock exploding thing didn't fit the scene because it was like the one scene in which we finally see Laurie Strong like emoting and like being serious and like trying to connect and it's just like interrupted by like when I pee it runs down my leg. So I did not like that. I think it could have been a real moment of like Aegon being sad and they could have had that rather than it being funny, you know, because somehow people losing their dicks is just hilarious. People getting, you know, hilarious. But yeah, father finally had some emotion. first time I've seen the actor show some emotion, right? Because he doesn't have any emotion in Raised by Wolves, and so I guess all of those scenes, like the fucking 8 scenes of Corlys like being like, "Hey, Alan, hello, okay, see you later." Next episode, "Hey, Alan, how's it going? Okay, see you later." And then finally he's like, "Hey, I want to help you out." And then he's like, "I don't want anything from you, Dad," or whatever.
Kyla is on the money here. He says, Alan looked like he just grew arms and didn't know what to do with them. Yes, I told Trey this when we did the fucking podcast. My man here stands like he's upset that something happened. Like a little boy, like was upset.
Aemond was the best character this season.
No, the fuck.
I mean, he's just kind of all over the place. He just he all of a sudden became this very angry villain. Where I'm not really sure, like his motivation seemed to be because Aegon made fun of his sex worker, who turns out his sex worker is working against him as well. So, there's not even that connection. She's lying to him. He's got nothing.
That's my biggest problem with House of the Dragon in general is how inconsistent the characters are and the writing is between episodes. Yeah, it kills it. It definitely is a killer.
Yeah, that's the thing is like before a writing team, begins their draft, they should have a teams meeting with the previous writers, and the writers should like mention, "Oh, right, well, one of these things to remember," or at least, have your draft, like pass it back to them and they could proofread and be like, "Oh, right, but there was something, this little inconsistency here." Oscar Tully actually wouldn't ever follow Damon. He was following Rhaenyra. So, whatevs. A lot of scenes were good in isolation, but it felt like they slammed the brakes midway through the season. Feels like the season just kind of ended. I do feel the second half of the season was slower than the first, right?
Yeah. Like things slowed down and plot lines were just kind of in limbo and like Damon's plotline like just lingered for like several episodes with not much happening.
I mean, the big excitement of the second half of the season was the red sewing, watching a bunch of people get murdered and Rhaenyra being fine with it. And then, so if you're going to go like less action at the end, then have some sort of like consistent character development, but they can't pull that off. To any degree. It's too bad. Season 3, Nettles will claim Cannibal, who totally still exists. I've seen it in prophecy. The Nettle Chads can't stop winning. I do admit that it would be fucking hilarious if like Rhaena is still tracking Sheepstealer and then she comes and she just finds that Nettles has already claimed the dragon. Like that would, and she's just like, wah, wah. Like that would kind of be funny, but I don't know if anybody can claim Cannibal. That's or Grey Ghost or whatever. The other wild dragons that Damon mentioned him last season, but people also forgot Damon had that entire speech. So I think they're just going to forget the whole speech happened. I don't think Cannibal and Grey Ghost are gonna show up. But maybe they'll hear the groundswell. People are really upset that there's no Nettles.
I love these people that are like still holding out hope that Nettles is going to be on the show. Just that may be wrong. It's like too late. Like it's like, oh my gosh,
it's too late. It's too late.
Yeah.
Thoughts on Sansa as a character, her story, and any theories on what her future in the story and her endgame. She's my favorite in A Song of Ice and Fire. I would love to know your opinion on her. I think Sansa is one of the better characters, one of my favorites. One of the things about her that's kind of interesting is that she was not originally like George's ideas on points of view. So like when he first wrote the first 13 chapters of A Game of Thrones, Sansa was not a point of view. And he put everything on hold for the Doorways pilot, which thank God for the door. Man, we still need to do
the Doorways review.
The Doorways review is just, oh man, that's
people are asking for it. I've seen the fan mail. People are like, "Where's the Doorways review?"
I know.
You've seen the fan mail?
yeah. They want us
people
to know.
Like, Preston, where's the Doorways video? You promised us. I was like, yes.
Whose heads were on Mount Rushmore at the end there? Like, yeah.
I know, right? So many things left unresolved. We'll never know. We'll never know if Cat gets away, and if he gets the guy character gets together with her. If he leaves Trinity, his girlfriend's Trinity, right?
Yeah.
So,
if we'll keep seeing the guy from RoboCop, RoboCop, that guy.
Yeah. I think it would have been an ongoing joke that he just dies in every universe. But generally speaking, I think that Sansa is supposed to learn to be a little more clever from Littlefinger, but and learn to play the game. I mean, the idea is that Sansa is a mirror character to Arya, and Sansa is learning how to play the game within the realm of traditional femininity, while Arya is outside of the realm of traditional femininity, and that's how they have they're opposite characters. So I think the idea is that Sansa would learn, as Littlefinger is teaching her in those chapters, to use her allure, her flirting and such to get things, but then kind of realize that that's actually a pretty crappy path too, and try to find another path as well. But I think she's a fundamentally good character, and I think that if it weren't Bran at the center of everything, like, it should be Sansa, really, right? Like, she's the only one really with the right mindset to the good heart to actually like rule the world. My big idea was that would be like the final scene of the series would be like her taking a boat out to the Isle of Faces with Howland Reed like rowing the boat. And she'd be like, who are you? She just like observes like the crocodile. She doesn't think anything of it. Did you guys watch Admiral Currid's Winds of Winter video? I did. We talked about it a little earlier. But like I say, I just don't think it's it actually applies. Like, it's very interesting and fun, but I don't think it actually applies to a human being and their writing speed, because we know that his writing speed is actually 0.
Yeah, because there's some years where he just doesn't do anything, right? He does. Yeah.
I mean, like, we can take A Dance with Dragons. Like, A Dance with Dragons, it took 6 years from the release of Feast to the release of Dance with Dragons. That was 6 years roughly. 1,500 manuscript pages. 500 were left over from the split. So he started with 500. He didn't get anywhere for 2 years. And then he went nowhere for 3 years, and then he very slowly eked out an additional 500 words over the course of another couple years. And then in that last year, 500 words. So it's like he can go at a speed of 0, and he can go at a speed of 500 manuscript pages in a year. So you can't just put George in an economic model, a statistical model, and like figure out what he's going to do. He's slipperier than that. He's quick. Who would have guessed the main philosophical message of House of the Dragon would be God exists and he has a plan for you?
Yeah.
Preston, go off. Please tell them why that's against George's bullshit. Go ahead.
It's literally everything.
I think Henry is he's been reading my mail. He's been in my diary. Yes. I mean, George R. R. Martin is an atheist. He believes in free will. Now, some people are like, doesn't this go against like time travel and all of this and all that kind of stuff? And it's like, yes, maybe it's only Bran's free will in the end, but it's somebody's fucking free will. These characters have free will. You wouldn't have had a fucking Jaime chapter in A Storm of Swords where he looks down at the fucking page and he says, I can fill this page with whatever I choose to. Like that just wouldn't, that wouldn't exist. George fucking loves free will. You know? It's not Jaime looking down at the page and being like, prophecy. I have no free will. I will conform to whatever is already written. Like it's
he's big into like man's in charge of his own, makes his own destiny and that kind of stuff. Like, yeah. Because even from his older writings, that's a big deal. Like maybe even more so.
Oh yeah, definitely more so. So I just don't even know like what's the point in the end? It's a story. What binds us together? Stories. And who has the best story? Who's got the best story? Carmine.
Sweets.
You're right. Sweets has the best story. Sweets should sit the throne in the end.
Wait, what did you call me? I was away. What?
What? Who has the best story?
Bran
the Broken. Bran the Broken has the best story. So good that Yara Greyjoy would give up her queenship of the Iron Isles to kneel before Bran the Broken, because that seems like Yara Greyjoy's personality. The same with the Prince of fucking Dorne. That's what the Prince of fucking Dorne would do. Prince of fucking Dorne would be like, what is with this crippled kid? I need some wine. I'm going home.
Oh God.
Did Helena send visions through the moon like Quaithe? She had to do something, right?
Yes.
I guess.
Yes.
So she's tapped into the Weirwood net and is able to give and project herself into Damon's Weirwood vision.
But now we know all the visions that were sent to her were actually from the Weirwood net. But like, what's the point?
But this raises more questions than it does answers. So does that mean that the Three-Eyed Raven is a title that is passed on to people, and is Alys the current Raven?
By the way, do you think people are going to still be pushing like on me that Helena is autistic? Like, you think that's still a thing after episode 8?
You're so right that like that's totally just they've gotten rid of that.
Oh man, I mean, you get enough visions.
But do we agree that her character before was more interesting? Now it's just she's the Bran 9000. She can tell the future. She knows everything that's going to happen.
She never worked as anything more than like a side character. Like she never worked in anything more than like, oh, what a puzzling, curious person who's saying random, and like it's like imagine if like Patchface all of a sudden was a point of view character.
Oh, you're cooking, Preston. You're
cooking.
Know,
right? Yeah. Like all of a sudden, Patchface is like front row. By the way, all of a sudden, like Alicent like only wants to save Helena. Like she doesn't care about any of her other fucking kids.
And the daughter.
And the daughter. Like, and were they gonna bring Jaehaera? Were they gonna three ladies on the road?
Girls' night.
Girl,
Girls
that'll be there. That's another Game of Thrones spinoff.
Somebody
like
posted,
Sisterhood of the
here you go,
Babbling
Trey.
Pants.
Someone posted in my server, can we petition Ryan Condal to hire Trey to play Ricalio Randoon next season? There you go.
Yeah, sure. I'm not tall
they're
enough
hiring
to do
YouTubers.
Ricalio is like 7 feet tall or something, right? Like, yeah, sure, why not? I'll wear some platformers or something.
Homie, if they redo Game of Thrones, if they like remake it, then Preston can play both righty and lefty, Olenna's guards. There you go. For hiring YouTubers.
I think Preston would make a good Stannis. I think Preston could make a good Stannis if he like grows a beard.
Grow my beard out, be a good Stannis.
Yeah. You grind your teeth. Yeah, they had a sound effect. They had like a literal like grinding gravel sound effect whenever you walk around.
Just go, every once in a while, I just go fewer.
Oh, you could use your ghoul voice, your Stannis ghoul voice.
Oh yeah, it's me, Stannis. I'm gonna look into the fire.
Well, who would Carmine be? Just
bro, don't even fuck with me. Just leave me alone.
I know what Carmine looks like.
Let me be Tyrell guard number 7.
Well, people are always joking that it should have been like I would be Hodor and he would be Bran in like the background.
Oh my fucking god.
Did Damon get the vision because he sacrificed executed Blackwoods in front of the Weirwood tree? It was clearer than his other visions.
Bro, stop. It's not that deep. It's not.
That's the thing. Yeah. It's like yes, for fans looking for to connect the dots, you got him drinking the Jojen paste. You got the sacrifice in front of the Weirwood tree. You got the full fucking thing, right? I mean, and not to mention, I mean, he sacrificed a Blackwood. Bloodraven's a Blackwood. How many more connections can I make? You know, it's all coming together. All the sacrifice, and but did. Because Bran views that sacrifice at the end of A Dance with Dragons and tastes the blood and things like that. So, he should have tasted the blood.
Yeah.
But how do you show tasting blood on screen? He cuts through Will and Blackwood's head and he tastes the blood.
A blood splatter flies up into his mouth. He's like,
oh, that's
that'd
right.
Be great, right?
He could have flown up into his face and then he'd be like, or he could have a dream of like drinking wine and then it's blood and he looks and he's like, oh, and then he looks across the table and it's Will and Blackwood with his head like cut off. And then he'd be like, oh, I'm drinking Will and Blackwood's blood. Ah, they could have done all that.
Are you guys writing like a new episode? What's happening? What's going on here?
Yeah, we're writing a better episode.
We're running our own show.
More
things that would have worked.
Did at any point this season, did Damon cut the Weirwood tree? Because doesn't he cut the Weirwood tree in the source material? And like bleeds every year?
He does it every day, awaiting Aemond at the very end. Yeah. At the very
okay.
end.
I was about to say.
Yeah. Corlys legit did nothing the whole season.
At least 9. I'm gonna go back tomorrow and actually, because for my review, I want to see all of his scenes. I think 90% of them were on the docks. I think he filmed them like in one day.
He walked into the small council and stuck up for Rhaenyra that one time, right? When he was Han.
He flirted with Rhaenys.
A post-coitus scene with Rhaenys.
He offered high tide to Baela, and she turned it down.
On the docks. That was on the docks.
And she said, I'm not salt and sea. And then later, Alan is like, I am salt and sea. He went to the docks a lot.
He talks to Adam inside Dragonstone, so that's like another scene where he's not on the docks. He's mostly on the docks. I think he filmed it all in like one day. He travels from high tide to Dragonstone a lot.
He does do a lot of that teleporting. Yeah.
They need a tunnel or something connecting them.
Do you think? I mean, I think maybe they built a really long dock that goes the whole way, and you can actually just like walk.
Pontoon bridge.
Yeah. That's right. He ride like Caligula when Caligula like rode his horse over the pontoon bridges. Like he like rides his horse over the pontoon bridges all the way from Driftmark to Dragonstone. Corley's passing Alan off as his son is going to have to be 25-year-old actor playing a 16-year-old kid energy. How old is Abu Bakr? Abu Bakr Salim.
I was kind of thinking that because the
Abu Bakr Salim is a
does
lot fucking younger than you think. Abu Bakr Salim, even though he seems like he's fucking 50, he is 31 years old.
What the hell?
Right? Because he's got that girth,
That's
right?
Insane. Yeah. I thought he was like 40 something or maybe like, yeah. Dang.
Yeah. He is 31.
Wow.
And Corley's Velaryon is 59. So there's a good age difference between them.
Wow.
Adam of Hull actor age.
He's 26.
He's 26. Yeah, he does seem a lot younger, but yeah. So, but
holy shit, the article with Ryan Condal after the fact, someone just linked it to me, is even more fucking terrible. This is so stupid. We gotta record this podcast ASAP, bro. I'll send it to you. This is so dumb. This is so dumb. What is this? Oh my god. This makes me hate the vision even more.
You're all characters in a story.
So House of the Dragon has Game of Thrones season 5 and 6 quality. That's where I'd put it.
Let's see.
That's where I'd put it.
Carmine.
I don't think it's 7 and 8, but season 5, yeah, a little bit. I get that.
Yeah. I mean, it's not. That's the thing is like scenes by themselves are really high quality. They just don't fit together. While like I would say the Game of Thrones scenes by themselves were a lot of them were ridiculous, like just ridiculous, you know.
You know what? I need to say this now because I know for a fact everyone's going to be mentioning this. House of the Dragon was not, right, Trey? Thank you. House of the Dragon was not impacted by the writer's strike. It was not. Ryan Condal came out and said that himself. Right. It was not impacted by the writer's strike.
Why are the armies so much smaller in House of the Dragon after generations of peace versus Game of Thrones with the 15 years of 2 wars? It's a good point. I mean, I've noticed this as well, that the army sizes are significantly smaller, like a third of the size often. I'm trying to think like how many people, like when we think of like Tumbleton,
that dragon budget. The real answer is that dragon budget.
Well, no, it's in Fire and Blood too.
Oh, really? Oh, shoot.
Yeah, that the army sizes are just smaller, and let me see how many people, for example, Battle of Tumbleton. So like you're talking like Tumbleton battle is like about 10,000 people on each side. You know, and in the modern story, if you're talking like a reach war, a reach battle, it'd be like 30 to 40,000 on each side or something, right? So I guess it has something to do with like just the population is bigger 200 years in the future, that there was like really fast population growth or something. It's the only thing it's the only thing I can think of, but it's significantly larger armies, especially when it's like, you know, Rob gets 20,000 people for his army, no big deal, and just like marches south with 20,000, and that's just like unheard of. You know, I think near the end, I think Stark is only claiming he can get 10,000 at the end. You know. And so like, there's no real reason that it's like that it's so much less. It's like half. Their army sizes are half, if not smaller. But I guess it's just they're just saying the population grew in the 100 years. You know, they made real strides with infant mortality and lowered infant mortality or something.
Food processing got better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sick, because I'm looking at like, okay, what's like the biggest battle in the story? Like Whispering Wood or something like that? I'm curious.
Yeah, probably.
Whispering Wood is one. It's around 2,000 against 6,000.
Was a Battle of the Green Fork.
Whispering Wood. Battle of the Green Fork. Yeah, I guess they divided Battle of the Green.
Someone asked me real quick, what interview am I referring to? One just came out right now from The Wrap about how I guess they brought back Geeta Patel, who tells The Wrap. Damon becomes like a Yoda to Rhaenyra after
Battle of Green Fork. Battle of Green Fork had 20,000 on each side.
Whew, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's like ancient. That's like a Roman Empire kind of like that.
I can't believe Tyrion slept through the whole thing.
One of the biggest battles in the history of
Westeros, and the show was like, fuck it, he's out.
By the way, Preston, you got called out because apparently you made fun of the Greybeards that the Starks sent, and those Greybeards are looking grizzled and ready to fight. Those guys look like they
grizzled, ready to fight. All 2,000 of them. I mean, in the source material, they do keep mentioning them over and over again as like, you know, I did this whole video on like Cregan Stark as being a dick, only sending like some Greybeards, like, and not very many of them. But it's like the text does later treat them like they're incredibly significant, even though they shouldn't be. Like, there's not that many of them, and they're old.
Speaking of which, you know who didn't get a mention this entire season? House Baratheon. They spent the finale of last season. The Greens got their support, but no mention of House Baratheon here. There's a moment in the episode where Corlys says,
it's George's fault. George's fault. Huh? George's fault. He's the one that doesn't.
You know what's also George's fault? House Aaron. I also looked into the source material. When does their troops come into play?
So they keep finding excuses, and they never really bring them down. They just keep finding excuses. They're like, we don't have any boats. Oh, you're like, what? Like, no, we can't. Why don't you just march down the road to the Riverlands? Oh, like a year and a half goes by. They send jack shit. Yeah.
Do the three sisters ever fight in the Dance of the Dragons?
I don't think the three sisters. But I think they're part of the Blackfire rebellions.
Oh wait, the Sunderlands, the three sisters supported Rhaenyra against Aegon. Did they ever fight though? No, it doesn't look like they ever fight.
Yeah.
I want some Sunderlands. I want some Sunderland representation. I want their weird webbed feet and hands. Just some squisher stuff.
Well, I think Sansa specifically dances with them, and they don't have any webbed feet. Like, they don't have any webbed hands. It was a myth.
It's like a.
Great, check that out. Check that out. The thing that just sent you. I'll send it to you too, okay. It's stupid.
Okay, Curdy Birdie. This is Admiral Curd. Admiral Curd was tongue in cheek. 90 minutes of spreadsheets, the Winds of Winter nonsense to peak theorizing, just to annoy Carmine Moonman. Has made a couple of bits. Yeah, I mean, I get a little bit of it. I mean, he was definitely talking. It's very clear that he has a background in statistics, and he wanted to like do it for fun. I mean, it's more or less. Aegon will try to recapitulate the conquest by accepting the crowns of kings. Why does Mance, the anti-kneeler leader, call himself a king anyway?
Because King Beyond the Wall sounds cool.
Sounds cool, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't have any other name. Like, you know, he could be like Chief.
The Mance.
The Man. Yeah, I guess that's all it is just King Beyond the Wall. But I mean, I guess you can still have kings without kneeling, I suppose. You know, that's just that's all. That's the only difference. And there's no heredity, or there's no passing on your stuff to your kids. Sunfire is dead, confirmed, or will it be retconned? I was thinking about that, and I don't know. It's such an iconic scene to have, like Rhaenyra fed to a dragon, right? Mm-hmm. And so it may be just that Aegon believes his dragon is dead, and that later we're going to be we're going to hear some rumblings about like the dragon still being alive. But they really stuck in, like all the characters, like Sunfire's dead, Sunfire's dead, Sunfire's dead. So it's going to be hard. They can still do it, but it is really bad. That, I mean, that's a very iconic scene of. But they
did that with Daeron. Like they did a whole season where they didn't show Daeron at all, and then like they're willing to just completely ignore what they did previous seasons. So
yeah, that's true. That's why I guess that's why people still have hope for Nettles. Like running in and push it, like just hand to Rhaena's face, like she just pulls. She does a Heisman where she like runs in, hand to the face. She Heisman's Rhaena and then jumps on the dragon. She's like, "Ha! I got it."
Because okay, did they ever mention that Helena was a dragon rider last season?
I mean, she flew her dragon to the funeral.
Okay.
But that's it. That's the only time we see it, and it's only from afar that we see a dragon. That's it. Yeah. I mean, it's a pretty big deal. And it kind of goes against her personality. Everybody's like, "Oh, she's not martial. She's such a gentle folk," and it's like she rides one of the biggest fucking dragons in the kingdom. What are you talking about? This was one of those points where I'm just like, Aemond is being completely reasonable. All right. They're talking about fighting a war with dragons. And he's like, I've got one fucking dragon. Okay. You've got an enormous dragon. You need to ride it. Like that just goes without saying.
I can't fly my Apache helicopter. Okay. I'm not a martial person. I
You're
can't use it to kill people.
Like, this is the whole thing. This is the whole part of being a dragon rider is they're like, get your hands off her. No, you don't get to use her. Like, really? I'm going to get burned or we're going to lose the war. I'm going to get burned to death. I need a fucking dragon. Oh man. Just got my fucking brother Daeron's dinky little thing. The Dance of the Dragons ends very similarly to the English Anarchy. If A Song of Ice and Fire ends like the War of the Roses, it'll be Aegon VI and Sansa on the throne. So I've spent some time looking into the War of the Roses and the Anarchy and things like that to determine like if there's anything you can kind of glean. The problem is that George picks things from various moments in time and that don't necessarily relate. So I don't know if like, you know, you can say like, oh, that he's Richard III here, or that's Anne Boleyn here, that's Henry VIII here. I'm going to reference the princes in the tower and you know, the kingmaker and things like this. All of that it's like pieces, but I don't think you can use the war itself to figure out like how it's all going to end. Unfortunately, but Aegon VI and Sansa on the throne. We'll see. The character inconsistencies are a lot more noticeable when you don't have multi-year time skips for which the audience can speculate on events. That's a really good point. Because before, you know, you had these big changes in the character and you're like, yeah, people grow up, you know. You know, like young Vaemond and old Vaemond are very different. Young Aegon and old Aegon are very different. And you can just be like, oh, well, you know, time has gone by. So they're different characters, with the exception of Kristen Cole, who's exactly the fucking same. His first season. This season, he got PTSD, but But you're right that like before you had the excuse, oh, a bunch of years went by. Now it's like they don't have the excuse. Prepping to bend to Aegon since A Game of Thrones, Stannis, Mance, Umbers, Manderlys, Tyrells, Balon, Littlefinger since at least Tyrell deal. House Aaron now. I mean, I definitely don't think that Stannis would ever bend the knee to Aegon. Nor would Mance. You could make an argument for the Tyrells.
Balon.
Definitely not. I mean, Balon's dead, but I don't know. He's not bending his knee to much. But I mean, if I'm really working on like who's going to bend the knee to Aegon, you know, we get these ideas of like friends in the Reach, maybe, you know, this idea of like, you know, Blackfire supporters that think he's a Blackfire, even if he's not. You could argue that you could make arguments about and I would make arguments about like Bonifer Hasty and pulling in the Riverlands and a lot of the Reach. You could make an argument for Dorne.
The Dairies.
Yeah. I don't think the Lannisters or the Greyjoys are going to bend the knee in any way. And I think it's pretty set up that if you look at the appendices, that the Westermen and the Greyjoys will have an alliance. Plus, this happens in the show. As for like the Vale, it could go either way. I mean, you know, who knows what the Vale's doing, but everyone in the north is dead. The Umbers, there's like, how many Umbers are left? There's like 400 Umbers left. Manderley, there's a couple thousand probably, because they only sent 300 knights to the wedding. So you'd think that the Manderleys would still have a couple more thousand, but it's also like, who fucking cares? There's nobody left in the north. So
the North's army could fit in like a high school gymnasium.
Right at this point. In fact, the North armies are fitting in a high school gymnasium as they're shivering, you know, with their horses at Winterfell. So I mean, even though the show makes the North so important, and we have all these Northern characters, and so we think the North should be important. Like the North is just spent. They're so utterly spent that they can't have any significant armies in the future.
The Crannogmen, the neck is totally. They have a fully like undamaged army. They're gonna save the day.
I mean, like I said, you could scrape here and there, you know, and pull 5,000 people, 5,000 Northerners. When you start thinking about like the Weeper and
George has forgotten about the Weeper.
Maybe, but the Weeper's got a fucking tens of thousands of people.
It's got 60,000 army.
You've got the Weeper, we've got the Vale, you've got Dorne, you've got still the Reach, quite a bit of people in the Reach, the high towers. You know, they've that's where all the armies are. The North is just gone.
Love like Winds of Winter comes along and the Weeper's force is like the most powerful force in Westeros, and everybody's like bowing to the Weeper.
That's right.
Weeper heads south.
How'd you rate this episode with the others of the season? I think this is one of the weaker episodes. I just can't think. I mean, there's some fun scenes here and there, but when I think of like episode 2 or episode 4, I don't see. There's also higher expectations because like episode 2, you can't contradict as much because there's not as many episodes. But now you got to episode 8 and you get to contradict everything before it. So I guess, you know, I rank the later ones worse because they keep forgetting stuff.
I'm not gonna lie to you. This felt like a penultimate episode. It felt like a penultimate episode that was forced to have some final episode scenes because this really should have ended on the fall of King's Landing. It really should have.
Yeah, this is something because
This is almost incredible. Ross says, so I didn't watch House of the Dragon. Did I make the right decision? You've been suffering through these fucking these streams every fucking week where we've been talking about nothing but House of the Dragon for fucking 2 solid months, and you haven't seen the show? Fucking insane.
That rocks.
That's, I mean,
that's a true Preston fan right there. He's just a fan of you.
That's pretty incredible. I don't know how you're capable of doing that. That's conspire with your former childhood friend, betray your entire family, wear a cloak. Oh, that's right. Alicent did do that.
She was wearing a cloak. Yeah.
I'm trying to, I mean, I'm going to have to sit down and try to figure out Alicent logic, because it's like, okay, I'm feeling really crappy that I'm no longer listened to by my son Aemond. So I'm going to sneak to Rhaenyra and allow her to win the war. Also allow her to execute my son. And I imagine Aemond
Aemond has to be killed.
Yeah,
because
Aemond he's not going
the
down with the
dragon.
surrender. Yeah. Who would do
Daron,
that?
she doesn't give a shit about Daron still. She's like, fuck it, I don't remember Daron.
Who would do what she did? Who would, like, what parent would do what she did? What mom would do what she did? Yeah, okay. I guess you could, son for a son. I guess you can you can execute my son. Even though the other son's going to die too.
And possibly the other son that I also don't care about.
Yes.
It's a real shame that Helena didn't tell her mom what to do, since she can see the future, to avoid all of this.
It's true. She should be like, Mom, no matter what you do, you're going to go insane and kill yourself. Like, it's fine. And me too. I'm going to do that too.
You see where it gets stupid? That's how it gets stupid. Where Helena can see everything. It's fucking stupid.
Right. She can see the future, so she must know that she's going to kill herself. So why is she going to kill herself? Because she saw herself kill herself?
She needs to fall to awaken the third eye in the past.
Oh, she's going to time travel.
She's going to time travel.
She's fucking time travel Helena. Fuck. Oh my God. It's right there.
Preston, how could you not see this? That's what happened.
How could I not see it? She becomes weightless as she falls. Yeah. She time travels. Oh my God. It's right there.
And that's how she knows all this information.
She's in the time travel loop. Fuck.
Good call, Trey. It's a maneuver we've seen before. It's what happened with Tommen at the end of season 6. He tried, but
yeah.
Maybe you think Tommen's time traveling too?
Time
traveling Tommen. Time traveling Tommen.
If only Aegon time traveled before he hit the ground.
You really think it's the weakest one? I don't think it's the weakest one, but you know what is up there? I gotta rewatch the whole thing.
Bastard blood shed in war. Better said by Alicent in season 3. These characters barely feel like their book counterparts. They have no similarity to the book counterparts at all at this point. Not a single one.
Yeah.
Not a single one. I mean, you can go through it and be like, okay, Alicent, this like jerky, power hungry woman is now like this rudderless, I need to go camping. I need to go to my best friend and like agree to kill my kids. Rhaenyra is both the savior of humanity and also like the most cruel human being on the planet at the same time. Jace, he's the guy that comes up with the Dragon Seed plan, and now he's the number one hater of the Dragon Seed plan. Helena, an all-around pleasant girl is all they say about her, and she is an all-around unpleasant girl. Like, she is all around just prophecies and doom. I guess Aemond somewhat resembles his book counterpart. Aegon is not as funny in the source material. He's not as fun.
Yeah.
It's just, but yeah, nobody. Awesome. Dr. Vink is in this episode from Are You Afraid of the Dark? I'm watching instead of House of the Dragon. I don't know who. I've never watched.
I don't know what Dr. Vink. Let me see if I recognize this guy.
Oh.
Oh, look at this guy's face.
Oh, he was one of the guys in Essos. Dr. Vink from Are You Afraid of the Dark? Okay, here we go. Down, come to the end.
Trey, I just saw your message. Ew, what the fuck?
Who was the cloaked person at the end of the episode? Wasn't the cloaked person just Alicent?
Yes, it's just Alicent. Yeah,
it's just Alicent walking. Yeah, but you're right. I can understand the confusion because for a while they showed from the back, and you're like, "Who is that? Is that Masari?"
It's Darth Plagueis.
It's just Alicent. There was no mystery to it.
Preston, there's a reason Trey is giving a lot of Star Wars references. I sent it to you on Facebook. It's the director for.
By the way, everybody has really fucking nice cloaks.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of felt that Alinda Massey's cloak was way too nice, considering that she's supposed to be doing secret stuff. And it's like she's running around town like she's the Red Woman. And here's where Star Wars enters the pictures. Something that I told myself, thinking about how to direct this, I see Damon as more of a Yoda that has just realized he's Yoda, Patel says. He is the spiritual leader. He's not someone who's becoming subservient. He's not someone who's stepping back. He's someone who's stepping into his role. And I thought Matt did that beautiful.
Like, why?
That's ridiculous. Are you, like, he's going to be the fucking like guru next episode? He's going to be like,
he's the rogue prince. He's not supposed to be Yoda. What the hell?
I am wise beyond my years. I'm the three-eyed crow.
Oh boy.
Population increase. So the reason there's more people at the end of in Game of Thrones is population increase after the dragons die off because the crown stops stealing all the pigs and sheep from the small folk. It does seem like they do eat a lot more. Like the fact that people are like, oh, those dragons eat so much. I'm like, they can't eat that much. Oh, man. All right. I'm finally, almost. Don't know if it's been asked before here, but where do you think the show will end? My brother is alive, reveal, and hug. I think... So a lot has to do with like how successful the show is, but the problem with this source material is that Rhaenyra dies way early compared to other people and other major events. So like, it's a good like Aegon rules like a good 6 months after Rhaenyra dies, and it should like it'd be nice if all the characters died around the same time, but it's like. Damon dies. Months go by. Rhaenyra dies. Many months go by. Many months go by. Aegon dies. Then Alicent dies like years later as they do like all this random crazy shit. So it kind of moves slow, especially if you're you want to end on Hour of the Wolf kind of stuff. Like, so I mean, maybe you can fast forward like have Rhaenyra die in like episode 8 of the last season, and then Aegon dies at episode 9, and then like episode 10 is all fucking Hour of the Wolf and fast forwarding through the regents and Corlys and sitting the throne and things like this. And you kind of go into fast forward mode. You like bookend the show in the same way as it begun with like massive time skips. you go back to the massive time skip like frame.
We gotta get that Shandok the Shadow and what's what is it? What's all the later, like the stuff that like Fire and Blood ended on?
Yeah, or like the adventures of Alan Velaryon. You know,
like,
yeah. Trey and I discussed this in the podcast. That's why I think Laenor is going to be alive. He's going to help Alan find the kids.
Bring him back.
Yeah, maybe. The timing's weird. Preston's right that the timing in the books is really wonky, like where things take a long time, like years go by where nothing much happens.
Yeah,
so
you got to go back into time
and not much action.
Mode. Yeah, but it also depends on how successful the show is, and like HBO, and like how many seasons and stuff like that. Like, do they want to extend things out? But I do think that the heart and the soul of the show ends when Rhaenyra dies, and yet so much happens after Rhaenyra dies. It's, a lot of source material. Like when George when George like spent an afternoon to write this, he wasn't really thinking that far. Like, oh, should this be adapted? Like, he was just writing some shit.
He was filling in stuff. He was filling in like the Jaehaerys reign. Like he was like, fuck it. The lady goes across the ocean, little adventures. Yeah.
But I think it was like, his book was that book was coming out, Dangerous Women, and he's like, fuck, I need to do this book for my friends. So I'll write something in there. I'll throw something in there. And there it was. Princess and the Queen crapped out. Does it contradict everything that happened in A Feast for Crows? Yes, but here we go. Joffrey tells Marjorie that Aegon II burned Rhaenyra with his dragon, and it ate her in Game of Thrones season 3. When they're in the Great Sept of Baelor.
There we go. They have no choice. They have to do it now. It would mess up so much canon if they didn't do it that way.
I mean, it's a very good point. But they put a birthmark on Bloodraven, and they put swords sticking out of the floor. They do their changes.
What's going to happen with those swords? Are we going to see what happens to those swords sticking out of the floor?
They're just going to be like taken down. It's all come together.
Remember what I said last time on stream, Preston. Rhaenyra is going to come to King's Landing. She's going to take it. She's going to walk up to the throne. It's going to cut her legs.
And she's going to be like, get rid of these swords. Everyone's like, oh, okay. Mm-hmm. I love the episode. I think the issue is that the show characters' inconsistencies, by the way the show invent plots and the book characters' actions, like Aemond changing to evil and stupid when in power in the books. I mean, I agree that there are a lot of plot points that they feel beholden to that they have to shove the characters into. I think there's a few things going on. Like one, they've created this show with the main three characters being Rhaenyra, Alicent, and Damon. And so they have to showcase Rhaenyra, Alicent, and Damon. But at the same time, they're beholden to plot points from the source material to some degree, to a great degree. And then there also seem to be beholden to trying to link it in with Game of Thrones with regards to like prophecy and daggers and trees and visions and shit like this. So you've kind of got these three paths going at once. And I don't think any of the paths really like work. I don't think fundamentally the source material is very good source material to adapt. And I think that's a major problem. Especially when you're trying to make the show be about these three main characters who don't do anything in the source material during this period of time. Like they do nothing. I mean, Damon collects some armies. It's true. But like Rhaenyra sits on her butt recovering from her miscarriage, her stillbirth. Like, and then Alicent does nothing. She does nothing. So but the show's still about these three characters. So they have a really difficult job. I don't think that their job is not incredibly difficult. I don't know how I would do it. I would have framed the show very differently. I would have framed the show having many locations, Essos, Old Town, the North, and would have had the show be more ensemble than it is. Like right now, the show is three characters. It's not actually that ensemble, but they went a different direction, and I think that's the fundamental problem, is that they're trying to link it to Game of Thrones. They're trying to link it to the source material, and then they're trying to have it be a show about Alicent, Damon, and Rhaenyra, and all of that together is really hard. Okay, finally, I think, am I coming? I'm always like, am I coming to the end? Am I coming to the end? Longtime fan. I don't know. Damon's arc was to show that he's realizing that he's not the one to rule and not capable, and his bro was right choosing Rhaenyra, then seals the deal with the last vision of the future, and he's all in. Thoughts?
No, that ruins it.
No, because he's legitimately like ready to rule all the way to the end. Like he tells everybody that he wants to rule as an equal to Rhaenyra. He's getting propositioned by Broom, and he seems all game for it. He's getting insulted by Tully, calling him prince instead of king consort. Like there was no progress on him thinking that Rhaenyra was the one who was the better leader. He comes out of this thinking he's awesome. It's like, I don't think he's like, look what I did. I raised this huge army. I'm awesome. I don't know if there's any moment where he doubts himself ever.
Well, that's the problem with what you've been saying all season about Damon in the show compared to the source material. In the source material, you've been saying this. Damon is a loyal soldier, a loyal follower. Yeah. I understand that in the show, he's very antagonistic towards his family, but he's not a villain to them. So these visions were supposed to get him to grow the fuck up and realize like what he should have known all this time. It was an extra push. The visions should have done their job to get him to bend the knee. The visions ruin it because they convince him to do what he should have been doing from the character development. It makes his character development just completely pointless.
Think about how much better that scene would have been. You're absolutely right, Carmine, because think about how much better, like, imagine removing the visions and having everything go exactly the same. Okay? Now it's set up like, oh God, maybe he's going to declare himself king. Maybe, we've been building up. And then in that final moment, he looks at Rhaenyra and he remembers like all the visions, like her losing his head, him talking with Viserys. Like he remembers all of that. And he comes to the conclusion that he needs to kneel to her. Like the scene would have worked so much better had he just not had those visions at the end.
100%.
Had he made the decision to kneel.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Then what was the point of his character development? Because I'm assuming that's what the vision was. And by the way, you and I, mostly me, have been getting pushback from these like weird, like I don't want to, be a jerk, but from these weird people, like YouTubers and random people in the comment section saying, well, it's your fan headcanon fan fiction that you wanted to. No, that's the point of the visions, is to give him character development. Otherwise, what's the point of these
There's supposed to be little nudges. There's supposed to be little nudges
because
that make him face his like personality, his history, his relationships,
That is the only way Damon, as a character that they set up, can actually have character development. There's never going to be like a wise old mentor, Obi-Wan Kenobi, to change him. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. The only way to do it is to do it through this magical means of the visions. However, because we had the fucking White Walker thing, why didn't Alys just do this in the beginning? It sets up this weird like plot hole. It's dumb. Anyone defending it is fucking stupid. Because again, what was the point of this whole thing?
It just makes not a strong story because his agency is removed with him just seeing
he has no
divine
agency.
intervention.
Had it been his decision at the end, like I've really that's the thing is I really thought about it. I went through some shit here at Harrenhal. I went through a lot of shit, and that experience, I came out the other side a better person, ready to kneel to you,
Exactly. Especially the last episode with the Viserys vision. Like, do you really want this? Is this really what you want? And Trey, this is before you jumped on. I don't know if you watching the stream before then. This is why I think Alys Rivers is a character insert for Sarah Hess. And I wish that guy Martin Chodley, who put up the super chat about Sarah being a writer on House, because I've never seen House. Clearly that guy has. So hopefully Martin sees this and like comes back in here, because I can't find him. Like that's why I think Alys is just a character insert for Sarah, who clearly doesn't like the Damon character, and it almost feels like the entire season Alys is always saying the right things. Alys is always chastising him, almost like a mother, and it's almost like Alys is trying to tame him into the good little boy that he should be. This is not the character of Alys Rivers from the book. Alys in the source material has her own agenda. She's a little crazy. She's out of her mind. That was cool. It just seems like she knows the plot, and we've seen that before with Bran. That's boring.
Well, Helena is just a puppet of Bran. It's Bran. It's all Bran. It's always been Bran. What if it's not even Bloodraven? Like that birthmark Bloodraven thing. That's not even Bloodraven. It's actually Bran. It's actually Bran is the one talking to Helena. It's time traveling Bran the entire time.
And Gladys here is.
Weirdly that makes more sense. Weirdly that makes more sense than what they're gonna do. But I think people will be really upset if like it's just Bran at the end. It would really piss off fans.
Weirwood net is like a giant time, sir. No, Gladys is making my point here. He goes, if Damon showed up in Harrenhal and saw this wacky vision, he would have dismissed it. Exactly. However, we still don't need the vision. Gladys also said he needed the visions with Rhaenyra and Laena, which he got, right? And Viserys to break down his ego 100% and get him to rethink his behavior. Yes, the development. Only then can he comprehend. No, that's where I disagree. I think the visions ruined the potential that he had to make this decision himself, because it comes back to what Preston said. This is not in George's thinking. George, like, what were you saying when we did the fucking special about how this all decisions are made for you, so why do anything? Isn't that what you said?
Yeah. Why do anything if look, that it doesn't lead up to this final decision where Damon needs to be ready to see what he's seeing. Any fucking asshole who saw that vision would come to the same fucking conclusion. You're like, oh God, the entire world is going to get fucking destroyed. Like anyone. He didn't need to come to terms with his brother. He didn't need to come to terms with Rhaenyra. He didn't need to come to terms with his mom. Like all of that character growth is irrelevant when faced with destruction of the entire world. Like what person, like say he didn't say that was the first vision he had, he would have come to the same conclusion. Like he'd been like, oh fuck, the world's gonna end. It's not like, banging his mom and cutting off Rhaenyra's head and sitting down on a bed with his brother talking about like how his brother didn't want it, like means anything. It's just, I mean, I suppose one could argue that he would be like, well, I'm going to be the hero that's going to save the world in the vision. But, I don't see how his mind was changed on that respect, Like he's ready to declare himself king. Like Broom talks to him and he's smirking because this is his plan. And then he doesn't do it because he sees the end of the world.
Which fucking sucks because I absolutely love the scene where he bends the knee and she's like, if you ever leave me again, I'll fucking like, baby, I'm here for you. Like, I love the scene where he's like, we declare for our queen. Such a good moment. Such a good scene.
And like I said, all you had to do is remove the Weirwood visions and it would have been great.
I'm honestly willing to like, I'll tell you what, to anyone, I'm not going to watch some fucking YouTuber's video on it, but if anyone has like an article or a subreddit post on it, I would love to get like the counter to what me and Preston are saying about the vision, how it actually helps the character. Because as it stands, it just ruins all the development that they spent all this time here.
And while you're at it, find a Reddit post telling me that Terminator 3 is a better movie than Terminator 2 as well.
Oh, that's right. Your Terminator analogy. What was it again?
This season is watching Terminator 3 after Terminator 2. Because in Terminator 2, they're like, no, we can choose our own destiny. And Terminator 3 is like, no, you can't. Nuke the world. Like that's big downer, right?
That's what everybody wants to hear. Everybody wants to hear that their actions don't mean anything and everything is predetermined. That's always everybody loves that.
There's another element to this that me and Trey briefly discussed when we did the podcast. We were typing back to each other. Remember what I was telling you about, Trey? The White Walker bullshit adds another level of bullshit to everything else. Want me to remind you?
You're gonna have to remind me. Yeah. You can message me or something.
If Ryan Condal is putting the White Walker visions into this spin-off prequel, what other fucking prequel spin-off are we gonna get the White Walker visions in as well? It's literally gonna be the one thing that ties every fucking prequel together. It's just one thing, and it's like every character.
So your hope. You're saying your hope that like Dunk is in the middle of the tourney at the Ashford Meadows, and he's like fighting in the middle of the tourney at the Ashford Meadows during his trial by combat, and then he has a vision of the fucking White Walkers in the middle, and he realizes that the winning of the Ashford Meadow and his rise to become Lord Commander is a prophecy that needs to happen. In order to stop.
First off, that's not my hope. I'm hoping it does not happen. But you're gonna fucking tell me that the moment season 3 comes out and he meets Bloodraven, there's gonna be a moment where he shakes Bloodraven's hand, or maybe Bloodraven like has him put his fucking hand on the Weirwood tree. You're telling me you wouldn't hate Dunk seeing a goddamn prophecy of the White Walkers too?
Of course, I'd fucking hate that. Of course, I'd fucking hate that.
The less prophecy thing we ever need to connect us to Game of Thrones is the Valyrian steel dagger. That's the only thing we need. Follow the dagger. That's the connection.
Oh my god! And then the dagger, like Arya Brightflame will have the dagger,
and then Bloodraven takes.
And he's like beating up the puppet. He's beating up the puppet girl, and he's got the dagger. And they get in the fight, and the dagger drops, and then Egg picks it up, and then Egg has the dagger.
Now you're fucking cooking.
Yeah, now we're fucking cooking, man. We're going to have that fucking dagger everywhere. And then, by the way, Egg carries around that dagger the whole time.
If you watch that teaser I sent you of the Dunk and Egg show, they have the last episode filmed, just so you know, for season 1, because Dunk is on his horse. He's about to joust. That's like towards the very end.
Oh, that's
right.
They've had a lot filmed. I mean, it's to be expected. 6 episodes.
I mean, to be fair, it could be that like the joust is going to be technically so difficult that it's 9/10 of the filming, and like something like that. But yeah, man, he's already on his horse, ready to joust. So that's the end.
We got to talk about this on the podcast. How like I spoke about it with Trey briefly. How there are so many people who were wondering is this Ryan Condal's own cinematic universe? Is he going to do his own thing? No, he just has this incessant need to connect back to Game of Thrones.
I cannot wait. People. By the way, so I mean, we're gonna have to remember this day. Like, if either Daron the Drunkard or Aryan Brightflame has the dagger.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Or Maekar. Well, would Maekar... Is Maekar the one who had... Like, the king has it at the time, right? So I would say that Maekar must be... He's going to be the one walking around with it.
I forgot about Daron the Drunkard and his own like dragon dreams. And who's the other guy in book 3 that John the
Fiddler.
Thank
John
you.
The Fiddler.
And he has his own thing. Oh,
well, that's Damon Blackfire. But yeah,
one of these assholes is gonna have the vision too, aren't they? Oh my fucking! And it's gonna be Damon Blackfire's entire motivation for why he needs to do what he needs to do. He sees the vision of the White Walkers, and oh my god! Did I just crack it?
Oh, it's gonna be fucking! Oh my god! This is gonna be fucking great, man!
Holy shit!
Just all daggers and prophecies, man. All just daggers and prophecies all fucking day long.
Holy shit!
Oh, it's gonna be so great. It's gonna be so fucking good. Daggers and prophecies.
I don't want 100 years anymore. No, can we take that back?
Oh my god!
That the Blackfire Rebellion is created by the same dagger visions that Prince was promised.
Jesus.
Oh god.
Whole thing, man. Whole thing. Oh, it's gonna be so good. It's gonna be so good.
No, it is not.
Dagger. Do you think they created a second dagger? Do you think they brought the prop to the filming of Dunk and Egg? Oh my god.
This is why we need that Jon Snow sequel series, so we can get away with this fucking prophecy and get do something else.
John goes all the way to ET and he finds an identical dagger.
What happens to the dagger after the Night King explodes?
Arya takes it with her across the Summer Sea.
Oh, thank God!
Oh
no, that means it is going to be an ET.
Oh no!
Shit.
Fuck!
Oh, fucking hell.
This means to chuck that thing overboard.
Oh man.
Chuck it overboard.
Incest leads to impotence, which leads to Yoda. I mean, I guess that's another one of those plot lines. Anger leads to impotence.
Oh, Trey,
impotence leads to prophecy. Prophecy leads to dagger.
Trey, have you ever? I know you're a young guy. I know Preston have seen this movie. Preston, have you seen Jumanji, the original from the 90s?
No, I've not.
Trey, have you seen Jumanji?
Yeah, I've seen parts of it. I don't think I've seen it all the way through with Robin Williams.
In the original Jumanji, the board game, after the board game causes chaos for the entire film, they take the board game, they fucking chain it up, and they throw it into the sea. And then towards the very end, the board game somehow lands in like Africa, and like you hear like the drums. Doom, 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 doom. The dagger is like the Jumanji board game, or the mask from the mask. It has a mind of its own. It always finds a new person.
I hate the idea that everything in a Song of Ice and Fire is like centered around this dagger. Like I hate that.
No. Here's the thing, man. Once you get to the point, you go beyond the hate, and then once you get beyond the hate, it like wraps around to love again. And so you get to the point where it's so fucking ridiculous that it starts becoming hyper entertaining. Like if we can get to that point. If and when the dagger shows up in Dunk and Egg, I'm gonna be so fucking like so.
You know why the dagger can show up?
I'm so happy.
The dagger can show up in Dunk and Egg because remember, I don't think Aemond in the source material ever goes back to King's Landing, and he has the dagger with him. So if he dies at the God's Eye, the dagger goes with him, and I guess it leaves his belt and it floats downriver, and some random asshole picks it up. So it could come back to Dunk.
For a second, Carmine, I got the Ashford tourney mixed up with the Harrenhal tourney, and I was like, "Oh my god, the tourney's in Harrenhal, so it's gonna be there." And no,
he's gonna find it. Rhaegar is gonna find it Lyanna's gonna find it in the grass.
Follow that fucking dagger. That's the thing that connects all of this. It shouldn't be the White Walker.
She's gonna find it in that. That rarewood tree with the green leaves that was on the calendar. It's gonna be inside that tree. It fell. And landed in the tree.
Hey, what's up with that dagger video? What's up with that calendar video we did? You gonna upload that?
Yeah, I guess so. I haven't had time.
No,
Preston, didn't you have, when you had your purple wedding thing, you had like this little montage of the dagger
of following the dagger? Yeah.
Following the dagger. This is kind of like that. Like,
I know, man.
Trey, he messages me. He goes, "Yeah, man. Like, so, like, you ever watch Warlord? You know how like when they're making the bullet and you follow the bullet's lifespan? Yeah, that was the
yeah.
dagger.
No, that was my inspiration for it.
I know, you told me. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that was my whole inspiration.
Warlord inspired Preston. Preston inspired HBO House of the Dragon.
Yeah. I mean, let's see. I think it's here we go. I tried to make this as cheesy as possible.
Because I know you have like the Dragon Lords, you have like the Valyrians.
Yeah. Like... So I was like, here it is. I was like,
some random person all the way back to Valyrian.
Yeah, then he's got the dagger.
And you put it on his hip.
Yeah. I mean, and then it's somehow it's a door, and then makes it up to
High Garden.
Somehow Littlefinger gets it. Passes, he loses it in his bet. And then he puts it in a box. Then Joffrey finds it. And that's it. I didn't go any further.
I love that.
Oh, man.
100 years of this bullshit.
100 years. Thoughts on them swapping the capture of King's Landing from Damon's plan to Alicent's move? That was one of the coolest things in Fire and Blood, in my opinion. I think it's really weird. They're doing it to give Alicent something to do. Like, that's clearly what they're doing. It doesn't make too much sense because, you know, it's supposed to be this like big secret move. Like, Aemond is heading towards Harrenhal. Haha, tricked you. Now we're gonna take King's Landing. I've got all the gold cloaks. And then they set up in the show here that Massaria was working the small folk, but now they're giving it to Alicent because they wanted Alicent. Give Alicent something to do. I don't think it's as fun, but you know, it's all part of like, what are you going to do with Alicent?
Story-wise, it also makes no sense because what I really loved about season 5 was like how Cersei begins the story. In episode 1, she's walking up the steps of Baelor, and at the episode 10, she's walking down like in different positions of power. Rhaenyra is at her very lowest at the beginning of the season, and they had a chance to do that at the very end of the season, where she's literally at the highest point, flying over King's Landing and taking it. I don't know why they didn't do it, because it really... Trey, do you get the feeling that this episode felt like a penultimate episode, the second to last? Because this doesn't feel like a finale to me.
The finale, like there wasn't like some kind of like big hook, you know, like that we were really excited, like some shocking cliffhanger ending. Like, we know battles
Otto in the cage, man. Otto in the cage. That's just as big as like the wall coming down, man. Otto in the cage.
Oh, by the way, I just watched that part of the behind the scenes. I don't know if you saw it too. Ryan Connell doesn't know where he is. No one knows where he is. So they haven't.
They mystery boxed it. They fucking J.J. Abrams mystery boxed
awful. It. When is mystery boxing anything a good idea? Like,
oh man,
that is awful.
Let me go back to it. You didn't see the behind the scenes. I thought you saw the behind the scene.
I didn't have time.
Is that what he says? He doesn't know. He doesn't know where Otto's is and who captured him.
It says here, I'm going to quote him. He goes,
That's
"We
terrible.
find Otto in his cell somewhere, and we don't know. We don't quite know where that is. What happened to him." So,
generally speaking, it's always better to know where the plot is going than to not know where the plot is going. Okay. Generally speaking, if we're talking about like where good writing goes, it's always better to know where you're going to actually send things.
Homie, don't worry, it's okay. There's another show this month that can save this. Rings of
Shogun's
Power
back. Shogun season 2 is back.
Shogun.
No. Hey, wait a minute. Did you watch Shogun? Because I know you were sick the entire time, and you've had ample time.
I'm a little more than halfway through. It's incredible.
Okay.
It's very good. Very good.
Okay, very good. Very good.
I mean, I think it's probably the best. I mean, even having not finished it, it's clearly the best season. It's clearly the best show of the year. I mean, I can't.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, it has really good material. It has really good source material too, though, and really good production. Yeah. I mean, they just like fucking nailed everything.
I can't believe you forgot. I can't believe you watched Shogun. I was actually gonna say, did you finish The Boys? But you only did you only see that one episode?
I finished The Boys. I didn't start The Boys. I watched the end of The Boys. It was The Boys is The Boys. It's the same fucking thing over and over again.
I mean, yeah.
Hey guys, maybe we shouldn't kill everybody because we'll be bad. I'm the butcher. I kill everybody. That's it. That's pretty much it. I can't do the accent. I'm honestly baffled about how badly they managed to ruin the story. It was beyond my imagination. It is true that I didn't think they could go off the rails this much with episode 8. I didn't think they could. I was surprised at how much they were able to screw it up. But especially after some really promising shit, man. Like, I was surprised this season how much I loved Alys Rivers and how great she was as a character and how much I was enjoying like Damon talking to her at Harrenhal, or how much I enjoyed Simon Strong. Like, you know, there are a lot of things surprised me. And then they just screwed it all up. They screwed it all up.
All the side characters had good stuff, and a lot of the main characters were just like, meh. It's feast and dance all over again.
Yeah,
you are right. Yeah, I even like Broom. I like Broom in this episode where like as soon as he sees Damon is no longer going to betray Rhaenyra, he makes like a cartoonish gulp. He goes gulp, and it shrinks away. He like runs back. It's great. It's a great little thing.
Trey's favorite character was Jace's haircut. He's got to upgrade in that haircut, huh?
You showed me that like a screenshot of last season and his awful wig. Like, why did they even think of that? Like, why would you give this guy a wig? Why would you do that?
Well, wait, I showed him that scene, Preston, where like Aemond is toasting the strong boys, and Jace is having none of it, so he's standing there like some way a weirdo, and yeah, like it's. Trey immediately fell in love. And Trey was also disappointed there was no Jace and Cregan romance, which, by the way, I can now confirm that someone who has very credible leaks and was talking to me confirmed that whoever made that up was clearly lying. And a bunch of people believed it anyways. So it was never in the cards or a deleted scene.
Shitty source material is no excuse for shitty show movie, i.e. The Shining. They could have glossed over the stupid canon and put in Mushroom. I mean, you are right. There are plenty of really great movies that have come out of really bad source material. I've never read The Shining, but people say it's a little weak. I did read the Forrest Gump movie, and that book's horrible. Some people say that Crazy Rich Asians, the movie, is much better than Crazy Rich Asians, the book. Things like this. I mean, you can improve on source material. You know, Fight Club the movie is better than Fight Club the book. Things like that. So it's like, could they have? Yes.
Jaws.
I mean,
Jaws is a much better movie than book.
Oh my God. Oh yeah. 2001.
I like Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park's a much better movie than the book. I actually don't like Michael Crichton as an author, even though he
just likes writing Westworld over and over again.
Right.
It's an amusement park where the rides go haywire and start killing everybody. Watch out for science. So, I mean, Ross makes a good point that considering like some of the things that they did, like for instance, you know, that are very, very different. For instance, like making Alicent and Rhaenyra friends. I think we all agree that was a good decision to make the characters more interesting, to actually make them friends, rather than just them being one-note characters in the source material. You know, so there can be much better decisions to be made on things. I probably would not have gone with the whole prophecy stuff. I would have, you know, I've said this a bunch. If I were to design the series, I would have had it be 4 locations. I would have had an Old Town story. I would have had a King's Landing story. I would have had an Essos story, and I would have had a Northern story. and then, jump from the locations. And then I would have had a lot more humor and fun, especially if you're going to have like Essos and stuff in there. I would have had Maester Conspiracy be a larger thing.
Maester Conspiracy, of course.
I mean, that would have been the interest, yeah. Right, because I mean, they hinted at that stuff in the first season, and then it disappeared. Right?
There was a small, like, weird conspiracy as what the fuck is happening with Viserys? Are the Maesters behind it? Because Otto is always, like, in a scene with the previous Maester. So I see your point there. But you know what I would have liked instead is have Aegon or Otto in the very beginning send Tyland very early on in the season to treat with the Tyrashi. And the entire season is him doing these, like, trials to try to get their fucking their loyalty, and he has to do all this bullshit, and it's fun, it's funny. This is something you and I discussed a while ago.
It's a lot more fun. It's a lot more fun than Corlys going to the docks and talking to Alan of Hall again. Like,
bro, it's a lot more fun than Alicent fucking Kristen Cole and then like being depressed the next day because Cole won't back her up at work.
I would have not had Alicent and Rhaenyra be such, and Damon even be such big characters. I would have had it be more ensemble. I would have had it more locations. Because this we really did shoehorn in all these fucking Alicent scenes. Like the shoehorning of Rhaenyra worked a little better than the shoehorning of Alicent. I mean, both were shoehorned in, but like Rhaenyra makes more sense because Rhaenyra is the queen. While Alicent is some random woman at this point,
with no power, who's just there to remind Aemond why he's depressed and sad with himself. It's no reason to have that many Alicent scenes, but I guess they need to keep the actress on retainer and got to give her something to do. Maybe it's in her contract. I think I talked to this about you with Trey. Trey, remember Michael Caine? Michael Caine reads the first page of a script and then the last page of a script, and if he's in both pages, he takes it.
Oh, you know what I'm talking about? I don't remember this. No, I didn't know this, but okay.
I was talking about with Explainer the Trey, but I forgot who I was talking about. I talked about this with somebody, but apparently that's Michael Caine's whole shtick back when he was acting. He would look at the first page of the script, the last page of the script. If he's in both, his character's in both pages, he'll take it. I guess maybe Alicent has some kind of like thing like that, the actress. I don't know. There's no reason to have her in all those scenes. Absolutely none. We needed more Tyland and Lohar. That's my new favorite couple. I love them both.
Yeah. I mean, if the whole season was just Tyland and Lohar, that'd be a more interesting show.
And I feel bad for the Rhaena actress because my God.
Oh my God. She just Rhaena running around a field.
She has less than 5 minutes. I went back and checked. She has less than 6 minutes of screen time. I'll need to clock. Whole season. I need to clock her in for this episode, but less than 6 minutes of screen time. Bless her heart. Maybe the actress got paid a shit ton. Great, but to do nothing, and she did nothing.
I don't even understand what went on like in the Vale. Like do they have the Vale support or not? I don't even know.
No. Because remember, they need defenses from dragons, and therefore, what's the point?
Yeah. Laenor sent the Catspaw, and the Littlefinger dagger plot hole is still unsolved. It's true. In the show, they never solved the dagger mystery.
Yes, they did. When Peter Baelish is talking to Bran, and he looks at his face, and he goes, "Chaos is a ladder," and Littlefinger's like, "Oh." That should have been his first clue to get the fuck out of there, but
so you're saying in the show, you're taking that as canon that Littlefinger sent the Catspaw.
Oh, as in the books, I don't know.
No. In the show, I'm talking. No, I mean in we're talking only the show here, show canon. Because the book canon so far is so right now that Joffrey sent it, but there's no hint of that in the show at all. So it's just, you're just saying that like that implication of Bran confronting Littlefinger is that Littlefinger sent it to create chaos.
I'm pretty sure, yes. And that also makes no sense because that would make Littlefinger the luckiest human being alive because it does not mean Littlefinger had no way of knowing that Bran would be pushed out of a window by Jaime. It makes him easily the luckiest character in the history of fiction. How everything works out in his favor. Right, Trey?
Yes.
The Red Kraken has Otto Hightower.
Okay.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty good. That's a pretty cool idea.
That'd be pretty fun.
Almost too cool for it to actually happen. I think
Otto would have to go from King's Landing to Highgarden unless the Red Kraken has like guys already
pirates.
ashore.
There's pirates around. Got caught by pirates.
Yeah.
Did he go by boat?
Okay.
I thought he would go by
boat. When he decided to go by boat from King's Landing to Old Town, and he got picked up by some Ironboard pirates.
Fuck it, whatever. I'll take it. At this point, it was something. Just give me something. Oh, fuck.
Can't watch tonight. What's the deal with Daron casting? I don't even have they cast Daron?
No. If you zoom in,
we just see his dragon.
If what's his dragon's name? It's
Viserion, the Blue Queen.
Did you say Viserion?
Tessarion.
Tessarion. Tessarion. That was the Blue Queen.
I was close with Betamax. So Tessarion, his like saddle has no rider, so he's just flying. Verdict's out on it. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was just so far away that there's no person up there.
No. You can clearly see the saddle, but there's no one riding on the dragon. I hope they throw I hope they do something really, because if I was in charge of the show, this is why I can't be in charge of the show. I would hire like an Asian actor to play Daron and have everyone go, huh? And just never address it, just to fuck with people. The most Asian hire the guy who's the Asian actor that played Jim in The Office that one time, and he's now in the Marvel stuff. Asian actor.
Why not have him be half black, and then everyone will look over to Orwell.
That's great, bro. We're fun. We always, every time we come together, we always cook. Randall Park, there it is. I want Randall Park as Daron. Would make no sense age-wise, ethnicity-wise, and if anyone questions it, you're automatically a racist. Fuck you.
I felt like the final episode of season 6 of Game of Thrones, a few things happening leading to garbage, in my opinion. The Green Men showed up was cool though. Yeah, I mean, I was just kind of bones thrown to the fans. It was the green man showing up with the grease gun on his forehead.
Hope George makes a blog post explaining everything about the Green Man because of this.
Hopefully. I mean, I feel like George is probably. I think he's probably angry. Changed too much.
This is the other thing that we got to talk about. Fuck, we got so much to talk about with this fucking episode. It literally opens up so much stuff because the new thing is that George tried to warn us ahead of time, a couple of blog posts back, where he's like, I'm not going to join the season 3 writing room. And now everyone's going, oh, George tried to warn us about this. I don't know if I would go that far. I don't know. But he has been mysteriously quiet since episode 4. So...
I mean, he's been traveling for a month. He's literally been in England. Like
he can't pick up his laptop and type in.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't do that. He fucking doesn't do that. He doesn't blog when he travels. He doesn't write. He doesn't blog. He doesn't do shit. He just enjoys himself when he travels. Okay,
it's fucking crazy.
This was past the blockade. Okay, this is a good point. Otto couldn't have gone by sea past the blockade to get home, but maybe he took he took the road down to Storm's End and then caught a ship from Storm's End and then was picked up by the pirates.
I'll put money on this.
Coming up with something.
So you think he got picked up by pirates? I'll put money it's Beesbury.
No, it's probably fucking Massaria. Look, probability wise, I think it's probably Massaria because that's the most boring. That's the most boring solution. The most interesting solution is that it's the Red Kraken. Yeah. Most interesting is that it's the Red Kraken. But that's just like too interesting for them to actually do.
And also he smiles with like recognition of who it is. So yeah, it probably is Massaria because there's only so many characters that Otto has shared screen time with. Yeah. It's going to be Massaria and it's going to be lame.
I see Damon's growth and vision being congruent and not ruining the arc, but to subtract the Vision is still better. Also, Alicent, Mom of the Year. She's a really bad mom. Alicent is the worst mom in this episode. I mean, I guess she tries to protect Helena from Aemond for a second, but then agrees to have her other kid beheaded and essentially the other kid killed. Son for a son. Son for a son. And then finally we come into, I've actually gotten to the end. George admit that Littlefinger manipulated Joffrey to send it, and the mystery is how. Didn't George admit Littlefinger manipulated Joffrey? No, he didn't. So far, the canon is when A Storm of Swords came out, George said that the mystery would be resolved of who sent the cat's paw. And in the story, Tyrion drunkenly thinks that Joffrey sent it in order to impress his dad. But there's no mention of Littlefinger. Littlefinger sending the cat's paw makes way more sense than Joffrey sending the cat's paw. But in the book, he's not manipulated. I think you might be thinking that there's implication that Littlefinger manipulated Joffrey to execute Ned. Though no one ever brings up Littlefinger trying to convince Joffrey to send the cat's paw. Some people think that maybe Littlefinger manipulated Joffrey to execute Ned, but even that is speculation.
I can see why they would think that, because doesn't Littlefinger manipulate Joffrey into doing the dwarves at the wedding?
Yes, he does.
I can see it.
That's absolutely right. Yeah,
I can see where that person is going at, but at the same time,
yeah. All right. It is late, fellas, but thank you so much for joining me, Trey.
Wait, you're getting off already?
What?
You just got on.
Thank you. It's late.
Preston, you just got on. What do you mean?
It is 1 a.m. I've been on here 2 hours, 45 minutes. I think.
Really? It feels like you just got on.
Well, I know how much you love chatting away, Carmine. But thank you, Trey, for joining me. Thank you, Carmine, for joining me. You guys are the goats. And we will talk this week more about this fucking episode.
I love you. Wasn't that bad?
It was that bad. The show is irredeemable. No, there's no salvaging it.
We can salvage this. It's possible, Preston. Stop it.
I don't think so, man. I think this shark has been thoroughly jumped.
We haven't jumped it yet.
This pooch has been thoroughly screwed. This toothpaste is thoroughly out of the tube. Okay, you cannot undo this. You cannot undo this.
I have faith. It's all a poor man can have. It's faith.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for being with me, and we'll talk to you guys soon.